Oh, shit. Ain't nobody fresher than my click. And I got to say, ring, ding, dong. Ring a ding, 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 dong. Ray's got the wedding bells ringing as HMG staff parties it down in New York City. I got to give a shout out to the best man, Billy Ray Valentine. Colin over there to document it, see why they're having a good time, man. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Beautiful nuptials for Big Ray, and it's all about to light the fuse here in a positive way on the weekend edition of AEW Dynamite. Light the fuse review. It's MSG, Hacker Hamin. That's right. Nobody better object to anything.
That's right.
Yeah, man. How's it going, buddy? A really happy day around here. We're so happy for Big Ray and Jen, and man, I'm happy too because I was like, oh. You know, I got through SmackDown, pretty solid show. Then I was real tired, but I recorded with the vet doing Impact Attack, filling in for Colin like we do, man, and had a great time. I was tired midnight, slept like shit, felt terrible this morning, put on AEW, great show. And I was just like, wow, I get to talk positive about wrestling all week long. That's a rarity these days, you know, so there's only one other person that I'd love to talk AEW with, and that's El Sexico himself, the Dirty Dancer, is here. Chris Silvio, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Busy over here today. Just opening up the new business. You and I got the convenience store going last week.
Yeah.
Now I'm operating Silvio's bar and gym, so pretty busy over here, man.
Awesome, man. Well, that's what it's about, is diversifying our portfolio. So it's Freedom 45. We're going to get there, man. MSB, I was just saying, dude, we're wishing happy nuptials right now as we speak live here on twitch.tv/Hamin Media, Ben Hamin YouTube channel. Big Ray is probably saying I do, actually, right there. And HMG staff's in the house, Billy Ray Valentine, Colin, and I'm sure plenty of other of our PW Hustle brothers and listeners over there.
Biceps. All those people are there.
Yeah. Team Titties and Biceps are in the house. And I really enjoyed last night's show, man. I'm pumped to talk positive all the way through. So, yeah, dude, hopefully you're doing well, and I'm glad to see you guys.
Yeah, so did I, man. I thought it was a really good show last night, and I didn't know that. Congrats to Big Ray being nuptial. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, they're going to Dominican Republic. They're going right down where we were for our little vacation for their honeymoon right after. So he's gonna love it, man. And what a great time for him.
How long's it been now? I mean, since you've been married to wife number one?
12 years. It'll be coming up on, right?
About 12 years.
No, not 12 years. It'll be 10 years this next coming year. So yeah.
Once upon a time,
5 years, you know, so really it's like 15 altogether.
Right. Once upon a time I was nuptialized just like Big Ray today.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the day itself being one of the most like nerve-wracking days of my life. Did you have a similar experience? Like it felt worse than like
yeah.
I would have been more nervous for that than to perform in the WrestleMania main event.
I healed because we split and eloped, like fully eloped. I took Mondo as my best man, and she took Ashley, her friend, and my parents were away in Vegas, and my little brother threw us a nice little dinner with the posse before we got out of town, and everyone was kind of cool with it because of that. But then we caught a lot of heat from our parents when we got home. But dude. I didn't want to deal with them. You know, that's the exact reason why I didn't ruin my day.
That was the right thing to do.
We flew to Jamaica, and it was a great time, man. And that's why we love Jamaica so much. We've gone back 3 or 4 times. We're island hopping now. Dominican's great, and that's where, Ray's going. The place where he's staying is 2 miles up the road from where we just stayed. Same beach. You can walk in between. So I'm just happy for him, man, and it's great to see everybody there. Yeah, dude.
Out there too.
Yeah, they got some all right. Actually, Jamaica, man, like it doesn't really stand up to like anymore to America, dude. It's rugged of what they got down there. So whatever. It's all about the beach and the jerk chicken.
That's right.
I'm your host in the scene where the air is clean. I light up that green. Yeah, boy. MSG. We're back for another edition of Light the Fuse. I would also encourage you to go sign up for patreon.com/Stevie Ray TV. I'm telling you, he just did a roundtable this last Thursday called What is Black Privilege? And your boy was on it. MSG was on it. It was 2.5 hours.
Let me stop. From what I saw of the small bit, that I was unbelievable, and I can't wait to have some clips go viral from that. But it was some serious brothers coming at each other full force while MSG just laid the fuck out in the corner, bro. Like for 90% of the show, dudes like were slinging heavy leather, and Matt just sat there.
Yep. That's right. No one to shut the fuck up.
I loved it. I was like, even when they pitched to Matt would be like, well, I guess you can see it this way. And then boom, right back into the fucking corner he goes, bro. And then they go off again. It was excellent.
I did get a little hot about 90
a lot
minutes.
of passion in that discussion.
I got a little hot about 90 minutes only in because I was trying to start to get a point out, and Mr. Mad Dog started talking over, and I was like, wait. You've been talking for 90 minutes. We've heard you say all this. I'm going to get my point across, and y'all go back to yelling at each other. Shane Taylor was an awesome guy. If you haven't checked out Shane Taylor, go check out Shane Taylor. Ring of Honor Wrestling as well. Dude's an awesome guy. So, yeah, go check that out. Patreon.com/Stevie Ray TV. If you go to Twitch.tv/Stevie Ray TV. It's actually up right now. I just rendered the 3.5 hour 720p video, so it should be up a little bit later for Patreon members. But if you have Twitch, it's up right now.
Congratulations on a great piece, though, man. That's awesome, dude.
I would pay at least $9.99 to see Maddie for 90 minutes, cowering in the corner, try to participate in a conversation of black privilege. I hope you didn't show them your Ancestry.com results that we went over a few weeks ago here on
I did not. I laid back in the cut, and the whole time I kept thinking was, no one shut the fuck up. Just sit here. This is what you've been trained for, sir.
Well, I was popping because I was looking forward to this conversation to stooge it off to Sil, because I know this type of stuff. He loves the uncomfortableness of that type of shit. That goes right to his core. Still, it's been a phenomenal OVW week for me, man. Well, first, Master Shoot Theater was a treat on Wednesday. I got to improvise with Jason Sensation. Get on out of here. Jason Sensation did a run-in that Russo surprised me with, and that guy is just, unbelievable with impersonations, obviously, from an era that we love. So that kind of set it off. And then I did a run-in Violent Lila Studios with Rip doing his boxing watch along, and hung out with Rip and Man Beast. So I got a big OVW taste yesterday. Then the second episode that just posted at patreon.com/Hamin Media Group of Developmental, which I definitely want to have you on as soon as well. We got the Adam Revolver on, man, and just the realization of, no matter how long he's been there, through almost 700 episodes plus, and never really taken any time off, and thinking about the education in each chapter and era of OVW as it reinvents itself, even to where it is now and in the media landscape, was just a great conversation. Some great Jim Cornette stories. And here I am with, and last night with the vet to go back and sit in for Colin to do that. And here I am with you, man. It's been just an awesome OVW week for me, and I'm very thankful, dude. And just, I think, some unbelievably high level content.
Band of brothers, man. It's Adam Revolver, dude. He's kind of like the Jerry Lawler of OVW. He's managed to be there through 5 different bookers, 6 different incarnations. So I got mad respect for him. And a lot of people in the mainstream aren't familiar with Adam Revolver because he stayed kind of to one territory. But at his time, he still is very fucking good. But at his time, I'll go on record as saying Revolver was one of the best wrestlers in the country, one of the best opponents I ever had.
I brought it up because we were talking about going Broadway, and he talked about the One versus Totally Awesome at the house show there, man. So what do you remember of that?
Yeah, man. I just remember Rip Rogers setting up a program for us. Like, you're going to have a 20-minute draw, 30-minute draw, and then you're going to have an hour draw, and we're going to see if we can get 90 minutes out of it. And we were like, how the fuck are you going to do an hour-long tag team match at a house show in front of people and expect them to sit through it? But we followed the course. We did our job. It was me and Jimmy Paradise against Revolver and Dr. Ted McNailer, Dr. Manbeast, if you will. And we just had a hell of a match. The most vivid memory of it was we came down to the final stretch, the last few minutes, and I noticed the crowd was kind of starting to stand. They were really with us. And when the bell rang, the audience, without us prompting, started saying 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. So that's how we knew that we'd done something right, that we made them sit through an hour at a house show, no commentary, no lights in production, and they wanted to see 5 more minutes. So that's something I'm proud of, and Revolver was a huge part of that. To my knowledge, it hasn't been done since, and according to Rip, that's the first hour tag team Broadway that he'd seen, and he thought we were the guys to do it. So yeah, that was one of the best times of my OVW days.
That's wonderful, man. Who went over in the last 5?
Nobody. We didn't give it to him.
You just gave him the 5.
We were supposed to set up the 90-minute match.
Right.
For the next one, but that never happened. I can't remember why, but we never did.
I think it's about time. I think it's about get out there from off the shelf and pull 90 minutes. Shit, man. But yeah. I was looking forward to this 90 minutes. Rough though, because one thing I wanted to bring up too, talking about Rip, talking about AEW, talking about I was like, Rip, we got Serena killing it over there with full Rip Rogers style. We have Mark Henry saying he's going to teach Rip Rogers style, but Rip's banned for some whatever reason. We have Silvio teaching at Side Out Dojo, teaching a combination Rip Rogers style and that work ethic. And I go, when is the crossover really going to happen? And people going to ever admit what they need before he's gone, even though we're trying to be the gatekeepers of all of this, man. So it was an interesting, like, what is coming for AEW at this point. I had another point I wanted to make out of this, and I've totally drawn a blank on it.
You'll appreciate this one, Hamin, while your point comes back to you. So as you know, I can't in-ring perform. I can't take bumps, and I can't take shots to the face or head, right? So yesterday in training, I took one of my girls. She's about a year in, roughly. So that's her experience level. And she's picking stuff up. But I got in with her yesterday, had her go 20 minutes on the fly without a single bump. She got through every bit of it. She's ready to fucking rock. So there is a crop of people that will be coming up that will know how to do all of this shit, from Genocide to the Carlson twins I'm working with, to Blake Bulletproof Troop. We just started, I'm a year into training Troop, and we just started doing big moves this week. The entire first year was chain, fundamentals, selling, striking. That was it. And now we're adding the other layers to his game. So there are people out there still representing. And just watch, these are the guys that are going to fucking stand out. Just like Serena waltzed into AEW unknown to a lot of people, now the wrestling world's going, oh, she's the best female wrestler in the world. Well, yeah, if you have the right training and you know how to adapt to 2021 to stay relevant with the show that you're on, you're going to be a fucking badass. So I'm happy to do my part.
Then was your point going to be that everybody is taking all the fundamental teachings from Rip Rogers, but Rip can't get a job itself?
Yeah. In that, is there going to be a change in that before? And I hate to say this, but he's got, the last chapters left to write in his life. Is there going to be the one thing that's escaped Rip is the redemption song because of his own making and the way that he's the Mickey from Rocky teacher. And in 2021, that's an HR nightmare liability. But why wouldn't you just fucking, and I'm sure we can tell him to tone it back, but whatever, you're not going to change a fucking the way somebody's done things for 65 years, and know that the fucking Adrian Street, the Macho Man knowledge, it just came back to me too. So I had asked Rip, I go, Rip, but they're hurting because they just got bumped from the NBA and they went from 860 to 560 to 460. I go, how much, even though they're going to have good houses on the road, hopefully here, what can they do? He goes, you know what? And this is Rip also not trying to get a job, but Rip sticking up for AEW and the business and the way things really are, where I can be a curmudgeon and misjudge things. He goes, dude, when we would get bumped for whatever, Olympics or what have you, and Macho and our show would get bumped from that Saturday morning wrestling, didn't matter if we, for a month, told everybody we're moving, we posted, and we're going to be here at this time slot for 2 weeks. Every time ratings would fucking nosedive into the ground. So that's an interesting move because they didn't billboard shit, you know what I mean, beforehand, that they're moving to Friday night or make it even anything special like the Friday night party zone, have a fucking party at home and let's mix some cocktails and make it a fucking Friday night bash, whatever. Like, there's 100 things you could have done, but they didn't do one of them. But I thought that was an interesting point, going back from Randy and IWC and ICW and fucking in even some old things where the lesson is this, you know what I mean?
It sounds like to me it would have been an opportunity for AEW. Things are opening back up, and it's the summer. Even if no one is actually watching it, you just go to a nightclub, pay the owner, hey, can you just throw AEW up on in the background, and we're gonna have our interview just stand here and be like, people are live watching AEW.
Why can't you get with that? Why can't you get with Applebee's or TGI Fridays and fucking do a thing where you got the big grizzly bear motherfuckers are gonna be at TGI Fridays and these guys are gonna be there, and it's AEW night for a month there, and you know, do like. That's you got that leverage. Why aren't we doing that kind of stuff? And that was what a dope thing that Nitro had, was the Nitro parties. Yep. People want to get back out and be social now. There's an opportunity to do that shit. So I don't know, man. Like, I thought that was an interesting combo, and you can check that out, patreon.com/Hamin Media Group.
It was interesting, and I tend to agree with Rip there, and I do feel a little bit bad for AEW with that. But I got a question for you, Maddie. Do you think, had AEW done one of their special events, like a bash at the beach or some of the stuff they have been doing, the pay-per-views that take place on Dynamite, had they set those up like, hey, the next 2 weeks is going to be Summer Smash, and it's going to be on this day and this day, and then a special, Saturday night, everybody dies. Do you think, had they done it that way and stacked mega cards, that would have changed the viewership at all?
It depends. I don't know if it would have changed the home viewership because it is the summer. It's a Friday and Saturday night. So I think if you're a young person, the demographic in which AEW is after, I think that's hard. It's kind of hard asking, hey, you want to stay home, watch Dynamite? No, I want to go out. I just got my vaccine or whatever it is, or we just got mask restrictions. I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. I've been inside my house the last year and a half. Do I think it could have definitely created some buzz? Could they have sold tickets? Made it a whole event thing? That could have been cool. Yeah, you could have had some sort of, spring break in the summer. Yeah. We missed our spring break. So we're doing it now. Come on down to Daly's place where drinks are half off, and you don't have to be a fucking wrestling fan. Just try to get a bunch of hot chicks in bikinis there, at the event itself, and then you attract the guys, and boom, you've got a sold-out house, and maybe you attract next week 4 people to come and get, maybe if it's not a one-off thing, if they do it for 4 weeks, and potentially, yeah, I mean, if you're flipping through the channels and you see hot chicks on TV, you got a higher likelihood that you're going to sit and watch it. Manbeast is here with us in the chat room, and he says if they would have booked Dr. Manbeast, he would write the prescription for ratings. So there you go. I mean,
I agree.
Fucked up. They fucked up.
Hi, Manbeast. We were just burying the fuck out of you in Power a minute ago. But I love you, buddy. You're one of my favorites. I mean, going off of what Maddie just said with the spring break idea, do you think they could have tied in Janela's deal with that and done it at, say, a nightclub or something? You know what I mean? How he does.
Yeah, dude, I think that's smart. When I went last time I saw Paradise face to face, it was up in Toronto at Slammiversary. I'd worked the indie show there, me and Kong, and then it was like a who's who of indie workers at Slammiversary. But it was a wicked fun time, man. Great to see him.
MLW does it, right? They do a lot.
It was a dope nightclub, man. Like, there's these two guys up there I worked for too called the Megan brothers, who are Iranian Jews, I think they are. But they like, I've worked their synagogue shows and their backyard shows. They're these huge events that are exclusive, but they are like party planners. So they help like pack it out with the cool kids there in Toronto too. So it's a fun affair. And I think that gives it the young, tight feel that it should, man. And that's where you could really spotlight and acclaimed with a hip hop artist that's there. You know what I mean? Like you could really do something damn cool, young and sexy and make it like that. And dude, the house just looks awesome when you can pull it off. But all you need is about 2,000 people in there. And it looks.
Could they have incorporated the Joey Janela branding for a 1 or 2 part event?
No.
You don't
No,
think so?
man. Like that's what Janela brings to the table more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's definitely on B12 now. Just see how much baby fat he's lost and he's all jacked up.
I didn't notice. But at minimum, he'd be a good host for that kind of
Hell yeah, man. Like absolutely make it around the summer, you know, Joey Janela's AEW Summer Bash or something along those lines, and make it like a degenerate MTV Beach House type fucking back in the day. And get Dan Cortez if you want. I don't give a fuck, but you know what I mean.
Carson Daly, he's hanging out.
Yeah, and yeah, do the whole fucking thing, man. Make it a fun roundabout story all the way through that. You could easily do that kind of shit. Sunny Kiss, fucking tossing a beach ball in the background. That's all you need to have on the show. How are you, if you have characters, how are you going to highlight them? You know what I mean? That's a fun fucking thing to bring their world to life. Unfortunately, we've been stuck in Daly's place, and how do you do that without building sets and things along those lines? Yeah. But you know, I think the nightclub thing is a very cool idea, because I had a hell of a fun time at Impact Slammiversary, man. I thought it was a great show.
Yeah, I've seen MLW when, you know, they were regularly, you know, having people in attendance. They did a lot of their shows in clubs. Of course, Court was doing those annual Wale parties and whatnot. So something like that, it could definitely be incorporated and work, and I think would work well with the young demographic. I think it would have been cool. I think there's a missed opportunity here just to put the ring on the beach, do a free show, put the ring on the beach, and just film around that. Give us a cool visual of a wrestling ring on a beach in the middle of the summer, and see if you can just attract people walking by too.
You say that just because you are not a Floridian. I know. You would die a miserable death. I walk fucking 10 minutes with my dog Monroe, and I'm ready to fucking kill over. Spring, I would agree with you, but summertime. I think it's still open too, where WCW used to run that. Remember when Kevin Nash did the cannonball in the pool? Like, I think it's called Club Laveau, and I don't know if it still has the same name, but I'm nearly certain that venue is still in existence and definitely affordable for AEW. So they could potentially. What
if there was an invite only, and you get a mansion, like one of those beach mansions with a fucking what have you, and there's 1,000 invites, 500 to celebrities, 500 to workers across board, me, you, podcasters, whatever, and it's like for the workers only, a show for within the show where everyone's going to be cheerleading, but it's like for the industry, and then like no marks allowed, and fucking fuck you, Russo, and Russo's there, and Meltzer sucks dick, and Meltzer's over there, and he's gonna take it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
Okay.
The fans would love it too, because they want to see it.
It's a spectacle. Like, I'm just trying to think, low budget, small, centralized, tight crowd, hot as fuck, and make it look exclusive. What is WWE not doing? You know what I mean? And we don't want to compete with lasers and fucking every other goddamn thing. Holograph birds flying out of your crotch. Like, fucking, let's do something cool and legit that makes it look like cool kids are having a, like, what's the most expensive backyard show you could throw? You know, like that like, let's start there and find out some fun shit, because the Megan brothers were kind of like that. I'm like, I'm working my only backyard show, fucking Jake Roberts, Chris Masters, Canada's fastest man, the fucking Toronto Raptors announcer, Colt Cabana, me, fucking Tomer Shalom, like, and it's $399 a ticket to come eat fucking brisket, you know, with all the guys from the synagogue and shit, all open bar. And I'm like, it's interesting how they do it. Now make that into a pay-per-view and fucking really go for it with cool cars and all that shit. You know what I mean?
AEW presents Backyard Brawl, sponsored by JR's Barbecue.
That might be the end of Jim Cornette if that happens.
What about that, though? You could call it JR's Big Barbecue, and fucking ODB's is there, and you got fucking JR's sauce, and it's just the fucking big family throwdown, bro. Like, there's so many quick marketing things.
I got one more because I'm having fun with this hypothetical booking. You remember in the 90s when WWF would have Cornette do those shoots on air? Cornette's commentary, I think, is what it was called, and he would come in and just talk
pro with Cornette.
Yeah, whatever it was. He would do it on Raw, and he would talk about the shitty things in the business, what he's known for doing now. Like, do you think that? I know the reaction would be fucking huge. Would AEW be ballsy enough to invest in paying Cornette for something like that? We're talking about like the backyard JR's barbecue and shit like that. Would they be ballsy enough to pay for a segment for Cornette to say all those things about fucking Janela, the Bucks, blah, 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 and then they'll have an opportunity to retort on air?
I would just steal his audio. You know what I mean? I think you could take what he says every week and he'll sell for it because you start using his shit, unless he goes to his lawyer that sponsors him and shit. But whatever, man. Like, if you're going to fire shots back and forth, then do it in a smart mark fucking kind of way. Like ECW's using legit music and not paying for it. You feel like a pirate. You feel like a badass motherfucker. You're going to put out somebody on blast on some hip hop fucking battle shit. Well, let's fucking battle then, son. Nobody really steps up and comes back at him except a tweet, which then he knows he thinks you got him. So he goes 20 minutes more and gets more views off it. Well, fine. I'm going to pull the same Mayweather Logan Paul trick with you too. And get mine. So there's plenty of fucking sneaky things we could do. But if you wanted to put the money out there and for him to cut the promo, he says, no, never would. I don't know. Sometimes his emotion clouds his sense of judgment for a payday when he could just do 2 or 3 promos for 10 grand and set that whole thing in motion. And then maybe do something. Like, if controversy creates cash, why wouldn't you want Russo on your show? Why wouldn't you want Cornette on your show? The guys who are reviewing it, tearing it down, if K100's got something to say about it, dude. Like, and you need a character that calls out the fucking internet and talks about shit that was going on the sheets 2 hours beforehand. Like, instead of trying to create, this is wrestling. Fucking be in the moment, dude. Be in the day. You know what I mean? So
I think if Jim Ross called Cornette and said, Corny, I'm going to pay you 10 grand to film each of these 3 promos, 30 grand. And all I want you to do is speak your mind about what you think of AEW. Yeah. I can't see Cornette turning that down.
I like that idea.
This is what I love the thing I just did with Revolver, because I missed working with Cornette both times, right before I got there, right after I left. But him and Rip are pretty close, and so I feel like I've gotten a large amount of the knowledge because I agree with a lot of what he says, but he wouldn't do a thing with Russo that would probably generate 100 grand. So I don't know if he would, but even if he would, I think that would be fucking great and controversial stuff, man.
I think that you could just give $30,000 to Man Beast. You get 30 promos, and he could parody Jim Cornette as Tim Bernadette, and then you just create your own Jim Cornette,
like the Nacho Man and Huckster gimmick. Yeah.
Is there any chance of Cornette coming to Master Shoot Theater?
Yeah, that's one thing I haven't tried to lay it in on him. I'll get a joke about Cornette or whatever in, but I never do even though I can do the accent pretty well, you know what I mean? because I want to leave that door open in case there ever is a reconciliation of what it is. I've tried to reach out 2 different times, and the clip we are about to put out with Revolver talking about him, I think is good biz, and I hope that maybe that might open up a pathway. But I specifically lay out, I want to do a AEW master shoot, and I want to do a fucking, on everybody, but it could close a lot of doors like that from people who are way too fucking sensitive, so I can bag on Vince and Deuce all day long, dude. But this last one, dude, with Jason Sensation, unbelievable.
Who did he play? Are you allowed to stooge? At least
Yeah, it just came out, but it's going to be animated too. I love the animated versions. That's my new favorite thing in the world. But he does Austin, Macho Man, Rock, Foley, HBK, Brett, and Owen. So, dude, it's the whole gambit, Austin, in there. So it's damn good, man. And it's so on the spot and in the moment because I had no idea Russo tried to give me the shock value. And, we can get a little predicated like, oh, this is what's going on this week. And I might be a little ahead of myself pushing a scene to a joke, which it works, but I like to be in the fucking moment. You know what I mean? In the back and forth. And that's what was forced there. It's like ding dong, fucking
ding dong.
And he comes and off to the races we went.
Hello?
Man. That's it. You want that one? Oh boy.
Ding dong. Hello?
That's my favorite one.
I had to go grab it because this is my favorite one.
No bread, no water, just meat.
I had to grab it because I couldn't wait. I got tired of asking Ben to hit it, so I got my own bread and water.
At the end of news, I have something I want to go over, but I won't step.
I just got a couple news items here because if you'd like to get the full news of the week, you can go listen to the Friday Locker Room with Ben Hamin and Stevie Richards, which is up right now on patreon.com/Hamin Media Group, as well as you can find it on Ben Hamin YouTube and on Hamin Media Group YouTube. Braun Strowman is apparently asking $20,000 to $25,000, Ben Hamin. Yesterday during the Friday Locker Room recording, the conversation was posed. What you guys think? And Ben maybe said about 10 to 15 grand. I just threw out a number, 20 grand, but it looks like here William Hot Sauce Alacia is reporting that his manager has been telling promoters in private he's asking $20,000 to $25,000.
Now will you fucking stop?
So Ben, $25K. What do you get? How are you going to get your return on investment if he's not wrestling?
You have to have a huge signing, and I think that's for like 3 hours. So it's not even like he's going to be there all day. So you have to have everybody lined up, pre-sale tickets ready to go. And then you have to have things that you're going to get signed. Like you have to have an investment. Not only have to pay the 25 grand and probably, unless that includes travel, which maybe it doesn't, which is another 3 grand for first class ticket and fucking 400 for top hotel room. So now you're up to 28.5, and then you got to invest 10, maybe 5 to 10 grand more and get very high quality posters, high quality 8x10s, a bunch of different toys, all the Braun Strowman toys you can find, any merch that's very rare or like a very nice pick at WrestleMania that you can get from the photographer and have like one-offs. Now create NFTs. That's another thing that you could possibly do with that. And then, so you invest in all that merch. Then you also have the line of people that you need to promote to be at least 2,000 long. That's only, and then it's $25 an item. And then maybe $10 each additional item if they want to. And you have to have, he signs an hour just for you, just nonstop signing shit. So you have a stockpile of 700 pieces. So then the money that he actually brings in might only be 10 grand for pictures and autograph and fucking whatever. You know what I mean? But you've got X amount in stockpile of signed Braun Strowman shit. So when he goes back or what have you, then you do it on eBay. And I'm telling you this because this is the strategy of one of HMG's local clients. I run for Cooperstown Connection and Seventh Inning Stretch, and they work with Gentleman's Corner Barbershop. They brought in Ric Flair, Dennis Rodman, fucking Lawrence Taylor, tons of Yankees, Red Sox guys. And this is what he does. The 7th inning stretch store in Cooperstown, New York is like a museum unto itself. For everything from Mike Tyson to Rocky shorts, all the shit signed from the movie Godfather, Pacino stuff. Dude, upstairs, he showed me he's got fucking Frank Sinatra's robe and it's all mounted and shit signed, man. It's unbelievable. So, Floyd Mayweather belts, all that shit. So that's how you have to do it if you're really going to make the investment on this side. Because if you bring him in to have a fucking match, there's next to zero chance that you're going to fucking make your money back on the show, bro.
Maddie, did you suggest that it's the 25,000 just to have him and not wrestle? So
it might be to wrestle, but it's for 3 hours, so you get to decide how you're gonna fucking use it.
I just had bad thoughts. You've got 3 hours with Braun Strowman, $25,000. What are you gonna do?
I just did the math on that. So at $25,000 at an average ticket price of $50, you need 500 fans to get a return on your investment or to break even, which isn't astronomical. He should better well be able to draw fucking 500 fans. What I would do if you're going to invest that kind of money, you got to have money anyway. So I would just stack a good card. I'd put the best guys out on the indies right now, the best guys that can draw that aren't under contract, and Strowman is the headliner with a big meet and greet with some kind of gimmick, like a VIP access where fucking they get Braun Strowman fucking t-shirt and pose for a picture and shit like that. And then I think you could see, a decent return on it. But who the fuck on the indies has $25,000 just to invest in that one part?
I think it'll be interesting to see if he could draw just 500 regular fans. And I'm only speaking this from experience. I have a Braun Strowman signed Funko Pop when I was heavily trying to, I still collect, but when I was like, I got to get all of them, when you first get started. So I went for the Zack Ryder one as well. Zack Ryder had 500 pops signed, boom. He was gone in 90 minutes because fans were outside. We were waiting 5 a.m. in and out, signed, boom. And people, of course, he's got a good in with the Funko community, so they love him. Braun Strowman sat there all 4 hours, to get rid of those signed Funko Pops. And I want to say even on the aftermarket right now, they're only still worth about $100, whereas Ryder's sold for 500. It was a nice pickup.
Where was this?
Washington, Seattle, Everett area.
Did he speak to you at all, or he just grumble and signed it?
I didn't really even say anything. I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, hey, how's it going, man? I was like, good. And I just signed it and I just left. I'm not a mark. I work for Ben Hamin. I didn't want to be stupid.
But still, here's the thing now.
I am a mark, but I don't want to act like
instead of 5 figures, you can get Ben Strowman for about 1,200.
1,200.
Yeah, and that's giving them a deal.
And they'll never know because it's just Braun off the B12. That's why I can blame it all on. And
you'd see on the sheets the next day, Strowman lets himself go for Cindy appearance. Remember the big Cass incident?
Yeah.
Second thing I had here was with NWA's Billy Corgan. He recently appeared on Busted Open Radio and was asked him, if he could pick a match right now, can you name a couple matches, some dream matches you'd maybe like to see? And he noted that while, of course, he loved doing Serena versus Thunder Rosa, he's actually pitched to Tony Khan to do Aldis versus Kenny Omega. So what do you think about that, Silvio? Would you like to see Kenny Omega versus Aldis match?
I love it, and it would be great. I'm a big fan of Aldis. I'm a fan of Kenny Omega. I think it'd be awesome.
Ben Hamin, maybe you can, somehow write the story.
I think those guys can handle the biz that way. They're both rotten. Neither of them can work.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, here's my news, Maddie, that's along the same line. So very good intro. NWA recently announcing their first all-women's pay-per-view that's going to be produced by Mickie James. Fucking
MJ.
Big deal. They're stacking up some talent.
So I gotta roll this way because Jenna's there and I want great things and success. I love seeing that class of 2005 reunion picture there, with Pope and Idol and Timmy and Serena and everybody that was in there, JTG, but 500 buys is what we're hearing for the pay-per-view. And that's tough because we want things to stay open. And that means Billy left a lot of money out of pocket on the table. And you can only do that once, maybe twice if there isn't a way. So I see this not, and I was talking to Mick before the numbers came out, as a way, like anything we can do to help promote, we're going to help. You just say the word. I'm going to try and get around Russo brand, but I think we need to do even more than that in a campaign to make it a thing of pride to buy the NWA pay-per-view and to go out of your way to buy it. I mean, believe me, nobody's going to get more free entertainment than Heck or Hamin. But there's a time when we got to toe the line, especially for all the people that we care about most and came up with. And I think I'm going to reach back out and say, what can we do in shaping up a campaign to make the next one so successful that you make up for the last one and make a profit on this one? Because to be honest with you, me looking at it, anything below 5,000 buys, like that's the bottom shelf of where they should be at. And it should be above that, you know what I mean? And turning a profit. So that means we got to sell 10,000 to make up for the last one, or 9,500 any way you cut it. So that's something I see as an opportunity. And I'm not looking to like, hey, we're gonna get a percentage. I'm looking at this as a straight up pro bono. Let's fucking use our momentum and cement something here. So we're not. Because right now everybody's sitting on one ass cheek. They got something they love, but they know nobody's going to say boo because it's not in the talent. It's not in the writing. The show flowed phenomenally from what I heard. And, it was the right time, but the buys aren't there. What's the deal? And how do we ensure that doesn't happen again? So hopefully HMG and Russo brand can help with some type of solution to get that to the level it should be at, man.
I'm down to help with that grassroots campaign any way I can.
Okay.
And I think, this goes back to what you were talking about RIP and ICW and AEW changing the Fridays. You got to think, they'd shut down operations for a while, out of sight, out of mind. The television programming, the times, the dates, people got accustomed to watching. I think it was Tuesdays at 6:05. People got accustomed to watching that. Then they moved over to Fight TV, where it's a paid subscription. So as opposed to giving it for free on YouTube, they're generating some revenue from that. However, I don't know the numbers. I don't know if they're getting anywhere near the views they were getting on YouTube. But I think it has to stick around. It has to stay to that date and time and start reestablishing. This was I believe the first pay-per-view out of the gate. They did a set of tapings, pay-per-view, another set of tapings, hyping the next one. So it's, in a way, it's like launching a fresh product. And I think it's going to take time and good stuff continuously to get it going. But your guys' idea about all this, I think Natty said it. I think to sell the next pay-per-view, it just needs to be a one-time fucking thing. Aldis walks out unannounced on an episode of fucking Dynamite and challenges Kenny Omega to a champion versus champion match. Boom. Now we got the AEW viewers who I think would be highly interested in seeing that, because I believe Cody and Aldis did very well.
That's the main event that needs to be booked to ensure that it makes up for the last one.
Or even Cody and Aldis too.
That was the second thing Corrigan said on here was he wants to see Aldis and Omega, but he thinks there's probably a better opportunity that's going to be Cody and Aldis 3. I think it would be their third match, actually.
I think if you got to make the money, it's the box office. No, I'm not saying Cody's not box office.
Right. Oh, of course.
But Omega and him is the intrigue in the NWA studio. Like that's the look in the book with a full crowd there of something special. You know what I mean? Like that, just to have those still images will mean something.
I agree with you there, but I'm not certain that Omega would get more buys than Cody. It'd be interesting to see.
I'm not saying Cody can't be on the show. You know what I mean? I think it should be Hangman should be there. Cody should be there in the NWA arena. It should be a co-promoted type thing.
I want to get Hangman versus Trevor Murdoch.
Yeah, hey, that'd be fun. Or even put them on the same tag together. They let them tag together and fucking do it. But there's big money there. But I think the box office main of dream booking. I'm just coming from a 2CW standpoint. Is Aldis versus is Omega.
I agree with you there.
But I want Mickie James to go back. I want Mickie James's thing just because she's our sister and we love her OVW wise. She's the legend that she fucking absolutely should be honored as. But I want to see, Hacker, I always want to see somebody stick it right up the man's ass in a big fuck you. You fucked with me. No, it's a must that I fuck with you. Dr. Dre type shit. So I want to see her fucking hit a huge home run with this, man, and get mega buys.
Mickey's also from my hometown. I am the second most famous wrestler from Richmond, Virginia, second only to the great Mickie James. But yeah, dude, that would be some killer shit. And what's great about this NWA thing is they're returning to the fucking legendary Chase Ballroom. For years and years, one of the most infamous wrestling shows was every week Wrestling at the Chase. Right. For all the old school and territory aficionados. So that's a really nice nostalgic touch from Billy to go back to the roots of NWA. And I hope St. Louis, which historically used to be a great wrestling town, I hope they show up and show out for this one.
And shout out to the new NWA Women's Champion, Camille, taking it off Serena, man. So interesting stuff over there as they shake it up going into what is it called? Empower? Like
that's what that was what my next thing is. It's actually called NWA In Power.
Empower.
Power.
Genocide picking up a win recently here on NWA, steamrolling. Some good programming coming the next few weeks. So keep your eyes out for Genocide on NWA.
NWA In Power, not to be confused with Empower, my former 401k provider.
And not to be confused with the Rat Band, as discussed on the recent Maddie and Stevie Ray broadcast.
All right, well, that was some of your news here. I didn't go through all the numbers because we're on Friday, so it takes a while for AEW net ratings come out. Last week, they had like 400,000, I think, was what it come down to. So,
I don't want to hear it.
All right, let's get into the Light the Fuse AEW Dynamite review. AEW Dynamite last night, June 11th, 2021, emanated as well again from Daily's Place. We saw a number of different members of the audience. I saw on tonight, Cal Hero was out in the audience.
Right in front and center. I was like, I wish I was on the show. I'd slap the shit out of him in ringside.
AEW Dynamite results, though, tonight. We started off with, again, special edition. This was coming off, of course, last week. To recap, you guys, El Andrade Idolo. Wow, I can't speak this morning. Signed with the coming. Andrade.
Where was he? Was he here this week?
No, there was just a vignette. That's
what
it.
The frig, bro?
Reversed there, wasn't it?
Like, that was my biggest criticism of this show, and you're starting off right with it. I would have brought him right out. I would have brought him out, man. And who did Christian fight?
Helico
was the first match.
Helico. Dude, it should have been Christian. I don't think Helico. I think El Idolo should have come out and he should have beat Christian. That would have been a statement to kick the show off, dude.
I mean, I like that, but I think Tony Khan is trying to build Christian at some point as a credible backup threat, a veteran there to fight Kenny Omega in the future. So I don't know if they want to squash.
I think knocking him down a peg and having a short mini feud with him is the way to go to set it off to show your circle of contenders with Omega in the middle, and it automatically, because they have built him to that. I agree exactly that's what they're trying to do. And if you have him catch a win, this is what I was talking to Rip with too. Everything is based on like, well, they're pushing him so he can't lose. Wrestling needs to get back to anybody can win on any given Sunday. There's not one team that fucking destroys everybody. Yeah, like if you're in the NBA, just because you put a jersey on with one team doesn't mean you fucking suck when you play with another one, right? So anybody can win, and him beating Christian would instantly raise him to that top level and insert him because they've done enough with Christian to establish it. There's a little payoff there.
But isn't Christian right now playing that role of the babyface? So, I mean, if he feuds with Andrade, ultimately he's going to have to then, like, in the end, win. So wouldn't that then diminish Andrade's newfound entrance into the company?
we can, once we get that spinning, we can start storyline with heat with Andrade for somebody else. But we should have started him off at a very high level win, especially after bringing him out to introduce him last week. And a WWE guy beating a WWE guy doesn't make AEW look bad, and it also makes those guys look like top stars. The shine comes from getting them into the contender circle talk and not having to build them from the ground fucking up, giving them one win over Christian. Christian's not going to be hurt by that. He's still going to be Christian. So go ahead.
Hold me closer, Dirty Dancer. I was going to kick it to Sylv.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with your theory, but I wouldn't do it, and here's why. Christian's already muddied. Christian that is simultaneously in a feud with Team Taz and Matt Hardy, so adding a third guy into this, it's just going to get fucking bonkers. So I would do what you said. I'd just have it be a different guy than Christian. Maybe Christian would have had this.
I'm fine with that. I was just
Kazarian, for
on the
example.
show.
Frankie Kazarian.
He wasn't even on the show still after getting introduced. Like, what I'm laying out is like a hypothetical different. Like, there wasn't even anything after you intro him and say I'm the best. Next week you got to come fucking show it. And you know what I mean? And that I think that would have been a solid one. And then we could even had Hardy Party pick the fucking bones afterwards to really overbook it if we needed to keep that business going with Christian. I don't know, man.
And that seems like it would have been a perfect spot maybe for like a Brian Pillman Jr. versus Andrade to open it up or something.
I like that. I like that too. I like that.
But let's talk about the opening match since we have spoken his name there. Christian Cage versus Angelico took on him on a match. The winner of this match was Christian Cage himself. Silvio, what did you think of the match? Any highs or lows for you?
Yeah, let me pull up my notes here. Good back and forth match. I thought they both looked impressive. I really liked Angelico in this one. I've kind of had mixed feelings about him, mostly due to the gimmick and the way that they're presented on TV. But I thought he did really well against Christian. Their styles mix. This goes back to a point I make all the time on this show. You got to give Angelico some wins. We knew going into that match he was not going to beat Christian. Get him some wins on TV. They said something about he's on a 3-0 winning streak, which has got to be on dark, and it's probably against unsigned talent or somebody that loses all the time. So he's not a credible threat. But here's a question to you, Maddie. I was thinking of before we went on, because I was watching this and just thinking if they built Angelico a little more, this would be really good. So Maddie, from a fan's standpoint, is there any difference for the regular fan watching if they see Angelico win on dark against Danny Limelight? Is there any difference in their perspective from him getting a win on dark versus him getting a win on Dynamite, where Hamin and I always say the wins need to happen?
I would say that, it's hard. I think because I want to say wins and losses shouldn't really matter, right? Should be really based on the perspective of the story, right? Of what they're trying to build with the character. And they should and they really haven't done anything with Angelico. But I guess based on wins and losses, if you're watching Dark and Dynamite, it would probably matter to you. Yeah, I would say so. Like you'd want to, if he's winning on Dark, then you'd want to see him start picking up victories on Dynamite to build momentum just as a competitor. If you're not watching it, like I don't watch Dark, but he shows up and I'm kind of like, oh, that's right. He's still employed by this company.
So you don't think on Dark that the fans know, like for instance, if you have Angelico versus unsigned guy you've never heard of, don't you think the fans know when the bell rings that this is a match for Angelico to get over?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, in regards to that, for sure.
I mean, what do you think of all this?
I don't.
Do we give these guys more wins on Dynamite instead of just on Dark against credible talent? So now we can have competitors, and he can have a competitive match with a Christian.
I don't. It's going to take too much to build them to. When you see a match like Angelico versus Christian, you know who's going over. So now we're just waiting. We're just waiting for the pin. We're waiting for the Matt Hardy run-in because we know what the long-term business is. Let's get to it. It's time killer. Unless Angelico gets a win out of nowhere because Matt Hardy comes down and distracts. Now that's how you build Angelico off of, it doesn't have to be slide over like a heel thing. Matt Hardy distracts, fucking Christian turns around into something, boom, boom, and that's fucking all she wrote. That's all we needed was that little bit. Doesn't bury Angelico of like, oh, I got to get a sneaky one with a fucking tights roll or feet on the ropes or hit him with a gimmick from behind. Like that's plenty, but give the guy the fucking win in what it means to do that. So instead, we're scooching over into position. Dude, I mean, some of the fundamentals of what these guys are doing, whether I don't know how they do it in South Africa or when they work in Mexico, but like he's on the cell, but they're scooching over to get there for what he thinks is coming is the fucking cross body or the big splash. And then he does the Benoit head, but then Angelico goes from selling with his arms at his side, put his hands over his stomach and like tighten up to take a splash, but then it comes on his shoulder. I'm like, oh boy, like to me that's like meh. Yeah, so it's tough for me to judge a match where I'm like, this was good. But when I see things like that, I'm like, it's not that good, bro. There's better choices. Only to get to Matt Hardy coming down to be run off again. You know what I mean? When I saw all of them, all I'm thinking is Jack Evans and Cornette are going back and forth at each other.
Don't my thunder. That was going to be my segue here. Yes, I was going to say we'd be remiss if we didn't bring it up, guys. If you haven't seen, Jack Evans, Angelico's tag partner, Chris Silvio, has gone back and forth with Jim Cornette over the last 24 to 48 hours. Do you need to
pretty hardcore too?
Can you give me some highlights?
Here we go. So there were basically Jim Cornette said, speaking for this generation before both of you, we thought what Jack Evans says here is true about stupid, sloppy, stiff 1990 workers, but Lance made a true observation here. Plus, he's really been a star. So, Jack, shut your fucking sensitive pie hole when an adult is speaking. Jack Evans says, Cornette, you act like this excerpt, but history doesn't show that. When ROH was at its worst, that was you. When developmental was at its worst, that was you. Smoky Mountain is overrated, and your bitter wrestlers don't cuckold your wife anymore. So, yeah, there's a little bit more. If you'd like to see the full details, you can go check it out. But, yeah, they're going back and forth literally within going on to Dynamite after Dynamite. Like, he's arguing with Jim Cornette. So like,
and why aren't we talking about that on comment?
Why didn't he cut a promo or something online?
Bro, that's fucking the money, right? That's the money.
Yeah,
and we're
back and forth.
And instead we're booking some shit like let's even start that match and fucking have something happen live where Jack Evans like, fuck this, gets the mic and gets the ring and starts and interrupts the fucking match even, you know what I mean? Even if it's half-ass phony and he has to get glommed out of it or whatever, but like those are in TV are what's called happenings, not in, you know what I mean, as opposed to what we're just producing, something organic. And dude, bro, it's ripping the boys and ripping the locker room because they shouldn't be in on it, but that's what makes it real as fuck.
Bro, it could have been something as simple as, how Cornette was the first guy, he would come to the ring, snatch from the ring announcer and announce his team, the Midnight Express. Fucking Jack Evans could have came out in Cornette garb, glasses, fucking tennis racket, and introed fucking Angelico for the match. It would have been a nice little dig.
So to get further here, just to get further in the story, this started with Lance Storm. Somebody had shared a video of 17 years ago when Angelico was working on the Indies. I don't know if this was specifically a Ring of Honor event, but Storm said, reminded me of when wrestling statements, quote, we used to pretend to beat each other up. We would barely touch each other and fans thought it was real. So we called them marks. Now we really beat the hell out of each other and fans think it's fake. Who are the marks now? He asks. So that was his initial question. And then the Jack responded, hey, Lance, nothing about your favorite statement is true. While you yourself have the reputation of being the easiest to work with, your generation does not. In fact, except for the mid-2000s when strong style was all the rage. And then that's when it started because that's where Cornette said speaking for this generation before. And then somebody shared a video of him from Ring of Honor doing like a backflip where he lands. It's a GIF. You can find it. Or he's just landing on his neck there. Yeah, if you want to see it, Ben.
I saw it.
Okay. Anyway, so there's the take, fans. That was the whole story. So anyway,
I agree with Lance Storm on that one, and I like Jack Evans. I do got to put Christian over for this too in the match. I don't want to gloss over Christian. He did a phenomenal job of adapting to 2021. If you notice, he threw in a few extra transitions, couple different movements. So performer to performer, I see Christian on that. Well done to him for understanding he needs to do his shit, his work rate, but change some things up to fit in. So props to him.
Also, of course, want to mention that they sure did officially technically start off with the Pinnacle arriving in a limo, which sets up them coming out later that night and what the Inner Circle will get into with them. So after we had this match has been mentioned, after the match, Evans and Hardy jumped in the ring. Cage gets rid of Evans. Hardy's able to nail the twist of fate on the Cage. They talk back some Hardy and he'll go back and forth, stomp away on Cage. He goes for another move, but then Jungle Boy runs out for the save and clears the ring. Then they update some shows on the road. July 7th, Road Rager in Miami, Florida. July 14th, Fyter Fest Night 1 in Cedar Park, Texas. July 21st, Fyter Fest Night 2 in Garland.
First of all, nobody would run from Jungle Boy clearing the motherfucking ring. That was bad.
What if he came out with a stick?
Maybe he needs to have a jungle stick because he didn't have one with him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or if he came down from the rafters like whoa, and he did that, would that be cool? Like if he super kicked in or something, flying in like on a vine.
I'd probably try and kick him off of it as he came at me, like hit him like a tether ball.
I feel like the momentum maybe with his foot out or something. I don't know. Maybe wear some cleats.
If he caught you in that bear trap, bro, I don't think you'd get it.
Nobody gets out of the bear trap, bro.
Nobody.
And July 28th, Fight for the Fallen in Charlotte, North Carolina. So they're back on the road next month. We'll see how that goes for them with ticket sales. Up next, we had Tony Schiavone announcing next week it's going to be Cody Rhodes and Brock Anderson. That now being the new debuted wrestler, Arn Anderson's son, versus QT Marshall and Aaron Solo. So Cody comes out to the ring along with Arn and Brock. Cody says Brock is going to show people that he wasn't born on third base. And then he's going to, he's hopefully excited. He's going to hit a home run. Rhodes mentions beating Anthony Ogogo, which brings out QT Marshall, who reminds Cody who won the tag team title. Who won the tag team match last week. Marshall tells Cody he's tired of the vanity projects like Brock. Marshall's tired of the second generation nepotism, says he wants to face Cody in a South Beach strap match July 7th in Miami. Marshall ends up taking off his belt and gets a cheap shot on the back of Arn Anderson, to which Brock then leaps on Marshall and throws down a few punches. So up until this Brock brawl thing, I thought this was pretty good. I liked QT. I'm starting to like QT Marshall even more. Like, I'm a huge fan of QT Marshall now. I'm like, dude, he's like the best thing on this freaking show right now. Cuts a great promo. When he's in the ring, he knows how to work, knows how to sell. He shows ass, as the workers like to say. I thought he was fantastic, but then I watched, and this is no shot at Brock. Like, the takedown didn't look good. Like, even I know how to do a basic MMA takedown, and he didn't even at least line up to try that. It was a very sloppy takedown in that regard. But other than that, I thought everything was great. I mean, am I wrong here?
I'll let Hamin take over, but I got a question. Where'd you learn how to do an MMA takedown from?
My best friend has a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so he's been beating the shit out of me since I was a kid. So.
Perfect. All right, Hamin, you go first on this one.
I took karate, but that had nothing to do with takedowns.
I like this segment to intro the kid. I am kind of not jealous of this kid who'd been like, here's another fucking second generation who doesn't need to pay a due. Here he is. My kid gets a shot, but he does look good. I like the kid's look. He looks gruff. He looks like a man, and fucking I like this segment, Alden, I agree, Matt, with what you said about QT. I think QT's really shined the last 3-4 weeks, man, and starting to find what it is and getting the point across. And definitely, you're right. He's not afraid to show ass, and that's what's making him separate from others. You know what I mean? And even when they win in a heel way, where QT doesn't get the win, but he's still claiming that it's his victory, that's classic heel stuff. I like that. So. I did like this segment, man. I didn't even know Arn Anderson had a son, so that was all news to me.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued to see this. And Maddie, I got a difference of opinion on that one. I thought the takedown and the punches looked like they had a lot of fire. If I were booking it, I would have been happy with how it was executed. So I thought he actually did all right there. But
I did like, why wait, motherfucker? Let's do a strap match right now, bitch. I like that. I like when shit because the WWE is like, don't cross the invisible barrier bubble on the ramp.
Sweet.
Like, fuck you, let's go. Wow, and then hit him. So
I like
That-
them both taking their
Wow,
belts off
good.
like that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I don't know. It just looked like maybe from production standpoint, the shot. I don't know. It just looked
Maybe.
awkward to me as far
It
as
did. Well, because I watched NXT and they're doing the thing with Killer Cross in the middle, and each guy's cutting the promo, but nobody's coming in the ring. And then Pete Dunne's like, "Fuck this, mate! I'm here to fight, and nothing's gonna stand in my way." Gets up on the apron. Adam Cole on the fucking Titantron. I'm gonna cut my promo. Well, apparently that was enough to stop Pete Dunne in his fucking tracks from whooping ass as a fucking Adam Cole on the Titantron promo. So don't say you're gonna whoop ass and then stand there with your dick in your hand. These guys are ready to fucking get to it. That's a big thing of wrestling is phony as fuck when that type of shit happens. And these guys went right by it. You know what I mean? I like that.
Now, I just one more thing. I just want to say, I'm 5'9", a $165, so I'm sure if he tried to take me down, he probably would be successful. But I just want to put that out there. Anyway.
Look out, Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, watch
Well,
out.
I got Stevie Ray now, so I'm not traded.
I agree with you guys on this one. I think QT stole the scene. His promo was great. His presence was great. He showed ass when he got taken down. That was great. He cheap shots arm, all fucking awesome. Only thing I would have changed about that was he challenges him to a South Beach strap match, which sounds weird and no one's ever heard of that. So I just would have liked a little explanation, something as simple as, and you know what? I'll challenge you to strap match. And you know what? We're going to be in Miami, Florida. This one we'll call South Beach strap match. Instead of announcing it like it's a well-known thing. Who the fuck knows
what you book it? What is a South Beach strap match? So, and then I'll give you my idea.
I'd say it involves tequila, sand, beach, and half-dressed women.
Yeah, I don't mind that. But how about if you had to put on baby oil and go lay out in the sun from 11 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, and then you had to come in and have a strap match with sunburns, and then you whoop the shit out of the guy, and then nobody wants to get struck. You don't want to get hit to start with, but a sunburn one, devastating. Like you purposely give yourself a sunburn.
I don't know. Silvio's party sounded pretty cool. I just want to do that this weekend.
Fuck. I mean, you'll appreciate this one. I like them pulling the belts off. My older brother has 2 little boys, 4 and 2 years old. And he does this joke with them every day where he'll come out of his bed shirt off and challenge one of the boys to a fight. Like, we're going to go now, and they're playing around wrestling. So my 2-year-old nephew, Riker, last week, his older brother, who's 4, was fucking with him, like took his toy and shoved him or something. Yeah. And Riker starts taking his shirt off and getting in the pose. My brother comes in and break. All right, no, you can fight.
Fucking so, that's social media gold right there. Let's get it.
Straight up Randy Bobandy.
Sounds like $9.99 fight TV right there. So after their encounter, we got Pac, Penta El Zero, and Eddie Kingston taking on the Young Bucks and Brandon.
Why is Package skateboarding?
Package Sharp?
Yeah. He's going to kill himself.
So anyway, I'm sorry. They had a backstage vignette while the entrances were going on for Penta, Kingston, and Pac. And I liked that Kingston cut his promo, looked over at Penta, and then when they got to Pac just walked off pissed that he had to even do this. Thought it was a good little, awkward little, odd couple pairing that they're trying to get across there. Pac, of course, they put over the fact that he doesn't have a lot of friends, so he doesn't trust a lot of people, of course, and they have that history, of course, when Pac returned. So they had a 3-on-3 match. They didn't make it pretty well known, as I was a little confused because the Bucks come out. I know that Brandon Cutler was with them, and I'm sure it was announced, but like when he came out, it just wasn't abundant that he was in the match until like the actual bell rang and he got out. So that was a little confusing. But Bucks came out; they looked good. I was paying attention this week more to Nick Jackson's hair, and I liked it. I was like, oh yeah, it is a lot brighter. It was a little bit more dickish. I kind of like it. So, and they look great in their entrance, and then we got the match. It was a great match. I mean, I can't complain. A little too long, but it's a Young Bucks match. I always complain about being a little too long. But fans have grown accustomed to Young Bucks matches, so I'm just probably in the minority there. Anyway, Bucks win. What'd you think, Silvio?
So when I saw this I did see Cutler announce, and I was not excited for it because I remember previous matches where they had Cutler in and he was doing all the shit, his springboards and blah, 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 in that weird like doomsday costume that I wasn't a fan of. However, I was pleasantly surprised and ended up loving the shit out of this match because Cutler worked the current gimmick they gave him, where he's their lackey, their stooge. Matt Jackson started the match like such a great heel, getting fucking ping-ponged all over, makes Cutler tag, then they pull him in the hard way. He takes a flip bump, gets the shit kicked out of him. Pat throws him to his own corner so he could tag. Young Bucks got their asses whipped some more. They were bumping and flying all over like fucking Shawn Michaels or Ray Stevens. The Bucks got the heat in a sensical way. They used the numbers game, which I mean, you know all about from working with the Insurgency. Every time I ever got cut off working with you guys, it was one of the 3 moving parts I'm focused on. Bam, legal guy hits me. And outside of the picture-in-picture, the Young Bucks weren't doing really any flashy shit. Most of what we saw on TV was them bumping around and putting the baby faces over. And they look great doing it. I love this match. It was entertaining. Some good wrestling. Fucking Pentagon did that crazy destroyer. What was the setup on it? It was fucking nuts. Do you remember how he set that up, Maddie?
I'm sorry, say it again. I was reading.
The big Canadian destroyer fucking thing.
Quesadora. So he did a quesadora on one guy and rolled through and then got up and fucking hit a destroyer on one of the Jacksons. It's insane. I've never seen that before.
And by the way, I apologize. Matt hit that buckle bomb Enziguri combo, and then Cutler tagged in for the elbow, and then Kingston hit him with the spinning back fist. So Pat got the Cutler on 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I said Bucks win, but I meant the Bucks were over. I apologize. I want to clarify, but continue on.
Yeah, the Bucks lost.
Yes, the Bucks lost.
Via Brandon Cutler to, I think it was the Brutalizer after the hit from Kingston. Pac stretched him into submission. So then we had the heels all run out, the Good Brothers and the fucking Elite, and Kazarian, a one-man army, came in and kicked the shit out of all the heels.
Yeah, that was it.
Not sure how I felt about that one. How'd you guys feel?
He's the Elite Hunter. Like, you know, like if you're going to turn somebody into a John Wick, you got to give me something to make him a reason why he's John Wick, other than the fact that he gave him a cool name called the Elite Hunter. Like, I don't know. You should have been taking him out. We should be taking him out one by one. You don't come out and attack 6 people one-on-one if you're a hunter, right, Ben? Right? Why would you run into a pit full of deers? You want to stalk the deers, right?
You can spot and stalk, but I guess if you got a herd and you're going to slaughter, then you could fucking do that too. But Brandon Cutler stole this fucking stole the show out here.
He's not. Is Kazarian Ben Hamin though? Should he be running into a herd like that?
No. I'll tell you all how that should have been done in just a minute. Cutler was there and took 4 dives, and every dive looked like he's on the stagger bump, and out of nowhere, somebody gets him. And just when he gets up again, he goes to get one thing and he takes another one. He's in every one of them that he took, he protected the guys on, and fucking he looked like the fool with the mask and getting the knock around, silly, sloppy, fucking what have you. And then the Bucks put up new bio, and I went and looked at it and said, Cutler, what happened? So they put heat on him right away. So this match was awesome, and I was like, oh my God, they're doing Bucks in the number 2 spot again, and people got to follow it. Then this show did follow it. I was shocked. Segment after segment after segment was solid. So this was an awesome match, dude. I liked the shit out of this shitty 6 in a new way to do it. So, and the Bucks aren't doing flashy shit because they're heels, and heels don't do flashy shit
all the time.
I knew that'd get to them. The heels don't do flashy shit. And imagine if they did even less flashy shit, the match would mean even more. Stop getting your shit in, heels. You don't need to do anything except vicious fucking heel work.
How cool is it that Cutler's working this gimmick now instead of how he was
way better? Just sometimes it takes that, dude. It takes fail, got it. You know what I mean? And now all he has to do is not get his shit in and be a Young Bucks-esque thing. He just needs to take the bumps and be the fucking fool. And he did it damn well in this. And that the post-match stuff, was where we're going with the Elite Hunter. I've done this. It was Rob Conway and Pat Buck versus the Insurgency, and every match from Coward Waves of that was versus Mobile Homers, but flag matches, 6-mans, all that kind of shit until it turns the tables and we've got enough heat on them, and Rob goes on an AWOL mission after I turn Pat Buck evil. Rob now is by himself, and he's got to take the tactics of the Insurgency and not the good guy and act like a heel, and do heel tactics, even though he's the good guy. You know what I mean? So if you're going to be Jason Bourne, you take the guys out one at a time, and you don't even need to show the violence happening. They just come in and are looking for the guy in the suspense of him not being there. And then we can cut later to a fucking, he's got him tied up and fucking bound and gagged and da-da-da, and then you're next, motherfucker. Or he's just holding a newspaper or whatever it is, something. Hamin's flag's here, but where's he? Like something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And each one you knock off until you decide who the top guy is that you're going to get the payoff on with Kaz. And that's how you do that, not run it and let me fucking machete everybody right out of the fucking gate. If you're going to be a fucking high-level sniper, you don't give away your position.
I want to see Kaz now push Don Callis off of a building. I don't know.
Possibly. And you could use that kind of leverage of a scene like that where you don't even have to show Kaz. You just infer it, and then Don Callis is on top of the building. Somebody's holding him over the rail, and they got 2 black gloves on. And you fucking hear, and Callis goes away. He's like, I'll tell you where his fucking car is. It's that one down over there. He's like, that one? And he's like, yeah, you know what I mean? And you never even ever have to see Kaz, but it's all implied.
Callis had a great line, too, when they asked him, about Cutler's pay. And he's like, he's getting paid in experience. And then they said something about him cleaning the floors at the dojo. And Excalibur goes, you mean Nick's garage? He's like, that, too. Good line. Go ahead, buddy.
I was going to say, I like the Cutler character as well. I think it's just natural. He's not even really, it's just kind of being himself. Like, this is the Brandon Cutler that's been on Being the Elite for the last 100 episodes, whatever it's been. So for them to just finally be like, you know what, we'll just let you be 2-contract Cutler. Yeah, come out and just be our camera guy. I think that works. Go ahead.
Heel Bucks, fucking great. I love it.
Well, moving on. Following that, we had a video package made by Kenny Omega, Don Callis, and the company about the conspiracy to take the title off of Omega. Clips are shown from Omega's title match against Orange Cassidy and Pac at Double or Nothing. We then head out to the ring as the Pinnacle comes out since their loss at Double or Nothing. First time we've seen them. MJF and company, they're not in a good mood, as Dax Hartwood says that they may have lost, but the match wasn't meant for them. Okay. He talks to Santana and Ortiz, notes both teams came from nothing, but they never lost their edge like Santana and Ortiz did. Hardwood says that he has a family to take care of and will continue to do so. Wheeler says he doesn't have a family, so he doesn't give a shit about Santana and Ortiz's family. John Spears says Sammy Guevara's got his moment of a lifetime at Spears' expense. He says Sammy Guevara isn't a hero. He's nothing more than a glorified indie wrestler. He says that he's the hero and they aren't finished. Group kind of calms him down as he's getting intensified there. But Wardlow got a lot of promo time this year. He talks directly to Jake Hager, says that Jake is obsessed with him, almost like Hager needs him. He continues on by saying that Hager brings him to his comfort zone because he knows he can't beat Wardlow in the ring. He says in 1 week he accepts the MMA cage fight challenge, which is going to be in Swagger's, or whatever we're calling here, Hager's forte. MJF gets on the mic, says he knows he's the best, but that's pressure, and that's daunting to most people. As he grew up idolizing Jericho, talks about the Jacksonville rally when AEW first started, when he first saw Jericho, said it should have been a dream to finally meet Chris Jericho in person, and says ultimately, though, he felt like he was a false god, said you're not on my level, says Jericho's match request is denied. Then he rips on Sammy Guevara a bit, and then Sammy doesn't belong in the same ring as him. And then this ends up culminating after that. They are interrupted by the Inner Circle as they're up on the big screen. I'm not going to get into everything they said there, as Sammy called MJF a company bitch and he'll fight him anytime. But they ended up smashing the limo. So it was a good payoff there of them showing up in the limo at the beginning of the show, with them smashing it right there. Woo, big old little segment there. Silvio, what'd you think?
Really good promo from the Inner Circle, all of them. Ben, I know you don't like the I speak, then you speak thing, but I thought they all delivered really well, especially MJF. Good to see Wardlow get some camera time. I have to admit, I'm a little bit nervous about what that match is going to look like, but hopefully they have enough time to put it together so they make this cage match, something really good. Because I don't know if Wardlow's ever done anything shooty and will be able to make it look credible, but I hope it's good. I love the limo smashing. They all got sledgehammers. They're knocking the fucking windows. Sammy's on top of the hood, smashing the front windshield. Santana and Ortiz are spray painting the car. Then to top it all off, fucking Hager comes with a forklift, smashes the shit out of the limo, lifts it in the air. I think he was trying to flip it over, but ended up setting it back down flat, which was a little funny. But no, really cool segment. Great promos. And then an exciting thing you didn't see coming. That to me felt like when wrestling was hot, that's something that you would have seen booked.
Yeah, other than his professional wrestling career, it just says that he has a background in boxing and jiu-jitsu, but nothing professional. But.
All right. Well, good. That he might have some fundamentals then to make it work. Hamin.
I love this too, man. Definitely felt like Attitude Era.
Right.
NWO it's hottest and coolest when you would go talk to your buddies about it at the lunch table, you know what I mean? And then it was kind of like, all right, they're just doing that. And then the forklift came in and really fucked it over. The promos were decent in the circle of past the mic, but that's fine that you can look at the camera, break the fourth wall and come through good. But what are you really saying? And even the FTR, like, we're still not tag champions, but we're the best. Well, then why don't you have the fucking tag titles? And I don't give a fuck about your kids or your wife. And then his tag partner goes, I'm not married and I don't have kids, so I don't give a fuck either. So I go, okay. So neither of us got to give a fuck, so I don't feel too bad. And then I think MJF stuff was all right, but we could have cut all that and got into the action. We could have started you could have had MJF into Wardlow and right in the middle of Wardlow's promo where he's talking shit about Hager is where we get into beating it, and then Hager comes in with the fucking thing. So it was a little bit too long in the tooth to get to the action when the action could have been in probably even a higher point as an edit. And then they looked cool riding off on the fucking thing, flipping the camera off. So this was Cool Guy 101.
I know you don't like the lineup thing, Ben, but if they're going to continue to do it, would it, I don't know, at least from a entertainment standpoint, make sense that anytime MJF is about to speak, that's when Jericho interrupts him. So MJF never gets to talk then.
Yeah, I think so. Sure. You get maybe half a line out and that happens. Sure. The cut off, the frustration. I don't think FTR should be talking at all. They have nothing to offer. Like there's nothing.
Get out of here.
I wasn't going to go that far.
No, there's nothing, not like they suck,
right?
But like they have nothing to offer to that scene to heighten it to where the fucking real tension is. Like, they're just kind of like, oh, they're the tag team and LAX is a tag team. What's the real heat between them? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Like, if FTR is talking about the titles, that means they have the Bucks in mind. And that lessens that. So don't let them talk. We already know that there's two tag teams and that they're going to fucking square off. We don't need some extra time with lines that don't mean anything to add to the height of the story.
You make the feud based around they're the two best tag teams. You make the feud based around whoever wins is number one contender, then you do LAX versus the Bucks.
I'd make it something racist.
Yeah, I was going to say you have maybe FTR show up at the barbecue. Everyone's playing soccer. They're doing the barbecue thing. They maybe make some jokes, do something, beat up Santana Ortiz, and then Santana Ortiz has a home invasion on FTR. Like, let's get into it. Like, I want to see it all.
It needs, yeah. If you're going to talk about your family and your kids, then you put them on the table to be a chess piece, to be threatened and shit like that. Like, if you're going to pretend you're a biker gang, let's get into some gangster shit. But we're not. We're just talking about I'm the best wrestler because I was in WWE 3 years ago and they didn't do shit with me there either. Well, now you've been here for 2 years and nobody's done shit with you either. So guess what that fucking means? The highlight of your career is punching out a Mark who tried to take out Bret Hart. Congratulations.
I mean, the real story here, though, is maybe they're just scared. Maybe FTR is scared because Santana and Ortiz mowed down a child. I mean, I don't know. So, moving on after this, I was going to say I don't want to gloss over. There was a good line that before Jericho started a smash. He tells the Pinnacle, "You might want to call an Uber because you're going to be walking home tonight." And then that was good. Darby Allen, Sting have a response now for Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky next week about the challenge. Allen says that he's not replacing Sting, that it's going to be a handicap match. He tells Sting to stay at home. And then Allen says Sting's got the pin at Double or Nothing, and he wants to prove to him and I guess Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky that he can win without Sting. Sting says Allen has accomplished plenty in AEW, did much of it by himself before he even showed up, and there's nothing to prove to him. But Allen says, "You need to stay home." And since Sting goes, "All right, I'll stay home," and then offers him a fist bump. And there's just like a long, drawn out oddness. I liked it, but I also was just kind of like, okay, where are we going with this? This fist bump. I don't know. What do you think, Ben? It was a little weird.
Yeah, this was unfortunately heat's on Darby on this. He's not finding his voice. He's not matching energy. He's not saying yes and what I like what he's saying about the mentorship, but I'm not feeling that come through there. And from Sting, I was feeling it. I really was feeling a lot of personality and genuine and all that, saying truths. I felt like Darby's like uninspired and like, I don't want to be here doing this. Like, that's what it felt like to me, man. Like you only get a couple chances to be like, I'm in the promo with Stinger. Let me fucking match it, man. And along those lines. And what he was saying didn't have a genuine feel behind it to me. I really wish I was there to stop, go over it with Darby for 5 minutes and try and really pull a better performance out of him, because that was kind of an important scene, man, to be honest with you. And it really kind of just was like not the energy it needed to be from him.
See, I really love this interaction. And I like when they expose the layers of the dynamic between these two people. And I thought Sting did a phenomenal job of putting that over. Like, he made sure to say stuff like, "Hey, we both won the match. And Darby, you were the TNT champion. You got nothing to prove." Like, Sting kind of talking him out of it, but knowing Darby's crazy and does his own shit. So at the end of the day, he's accepting it and like, "Fuck you, do you, dude? Do whatever you got to do."
Did you see crazy and does his own shit from him? I felt like a dude who was depressed and like fucking.
Well, he is depressed. I think that's part of the gimmick.
I get it that you're supposed to be emo, but you need to be like, you thought I was getting crazy before, Stinger. I don't even want you to see what I got to do next, because I got to take this shit to a whole new level, bro. Like, show me slow play intense, but I was kind of like, oh, I took my meds and they're kicking in. Like, that's what it felt like to me in the delivery, man. I just needed to really give him a quick touch on the ass with a fucking cattle prod and fucking, that's all I want.
Good interaction. I thought Sting was absolutely great in this one.
He was.
Sting was great. Sting was good. Following this, we get a package with Evil Uno, and they're kind of hyping up the match.
And sorry, the other thing is, fucking, they got a combo shirt. Like, Darby, even if he's depressed, should be like, dude, I don't really give a shit what happens in this match, because no one can ever take away the fact that I have a fucking shirt with Stinger on it, bro. That alone, I don't give a shit what happens tomorrow, Sting. I just want to let you know, man, to me, as a milestone in my fucking career, that shit's awesome. And your ass better go get it at AEW shop right now. Break the fucking fourth wall, but like, put the fucking merch over. Just don't let Stinger wear it and be like, oh, there's a new shirt out and nobody says shit about it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even see that shirt until you pointed it out. That's it.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Sorry. Sell the merch, boys.
Good call. Yeah, Evil Uno, there's a package with him. Says he wants to make Brody Lee proud of him by bringing the TNT title back to the Dark Order. Says he's been a longtime friend of Mr. Brody Lee. Says he'd, of course, love to see a member win the title, but he'd like to do it and validate his 17-year career in wrestling. So then we got the match, Miro versus Evil Uno. Dark Order comes out the stage with supporting Evil Uno, heads to the back. Miro instantly comes out, and just puts Uno down to the ground. Now they gave Uno some time here, so I liked this. I mean, granted, I probably wanted to see a little bit more dominating Miro just because I like that character and I'm a fan of it. But Evil Uno is not just some small guy, so I'm okay, seeing Uno try to go toe-to-toe with Miro. And for the most part, he did till, of course, the end with all of Dark Order out there. Miro straps on his, his camel clutch. I don't know what you want to call it. He's not really sitting on it like a camel, back clutch, bridge clutch, and he gets the victory. What do you think, Sil? Did you like the match? And did you like seeing all of Dark Order out there at the end?
I did like the match. To this point of the show, every segment had pretty much been hit. Like I recall being very impressed once we got here. I'm like, damn, they're fucking on point today with their shit. The match was good. I like Uno. I didn't like the Dark Order when it started. A lot of other people didn't as well. But he's morphed into a good character, and he's a really good wrestler. Miro's the fucking man. You can't touch Miro. Like, that guy's got money fucking written all over him. If they don't push him to the moon, something's wrong. So I hope they continue that. I usually hate when the entire Dark Order comes out. It drives me nuts because it's too many moving parts. But in this case, I liked it because there was emotion involved. Uno's pulling himself up on the ropes and his team's out there saying, brother, come on, you got this. You can do it. He tries to hit Brody's finish as a tribute, but bam, Miro's too big and fucking strong, lays him out, slaps his own finish in, and it became like a heartbreaking loss for Uno, which gave it some stakes as opposed to him just losing cold to Miro. They made the audience feel for Uno as a sympathetic character, so I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't care for, because Uno is a bigger guy, and even though Miro's fucking B12'd out and fucking a monster, the forearm smashes or chops in the beginning where Miro no sells, I'd want to see him sell and register that and then Hulk up from there. Not him just standing there being like, what the fuck, Uno, you're a bitch. Like, maybe the Marco stunt or Jungle Boy, you know what I mean, along those lines. But not when you got another heavyweight. You got to register and sell his shit. Otherwise, why are we going 12 minutes? Because if that don't hurt you, you should be able to fucking beat him in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So I wish Miro would have sold a little bit more to put Evil Uno over in the beginning of this match. But the story they told of, Evil Uno's heart and fighting from underneath for the legacy of Brody was good. It didn't need to win because the sympathy is there of giving it your all. And Brody's not here, and neither is the win at this point. Versus, it's about having the courage to face the monsters in your life, even if you're going to take the L. So I just wanted to see a little bit more respect for Evil Uno's size, and I think Miro selling more will make him hulking up and being indestructible and being able to show more emotion and coming out of it instead of just standing there to shake them off. Guys at the end were fine, but one thing that I don't like on this show is and the other guy who's in the main, who's got the body, what's his fucking name? Number 10. Yeah, but they said his real name too, and I put enough heat on him for not wearing the mask on social media, whatever. But they were saying that this is Brody's project and that he was hand selected. Well, we just had empathy for Evil Uno and them being boys since 2CW era and sending pictures of his kid. Don't confuse that empathy with this dude over here to split that, because now how we were feeling about Evil Uno, well, it seems less genuine now that we're talking. I'm not saying that Brody didn't have love for both of them, but don't tell that story at the same time, man. You know what I mean? Or the fact that even after when he comes back and Evil Uno's lost, if you're going to say that number 10 is his, there needs to be a moment between Evil Uno and 10 of being like,
right,
you were his project, I couldn't do it, now you go,
right,
you fucking go do that. You know what I mean? But to tell it that way, I was like, fuck, dude, that wasn't the right storytelling device there. So whatever. But I like the seg. I like the seg though.
I think this segment was the best usage of Dark Order since they did the Brody Lee tribute. So I just want to point that out. That was,
I agree,
pretty strong.
So there were a couple releases here, and there's some individuals that are that could be potentially tied to members of this match. One being Lana. There's a rumor circulating that she'll eventually be brought into AEW. But Hot Sauce William Alessia from the Hamin Media Group and Last Word on Pro Wrestling is also reporting that it's all but thought that Aleister Black will be coming to AEW. So if he comes to AEW, are they repackaging him, or are we put him with the Dark Order and you make him the actual true leader and then turn it into an Aleister Crowley cult? I don't know. I mean, what do you think here, Ben?
I don't think Dark Order needs him, dude, to be honest with you. I've also seen Aleister Black with Butcher, Bunny, and Blade. I don't think so. I think Aleister Black should go back to WWE. I think they've chopped a lot of these guys for social media reasons. I think they're having a draft in September. I think they want to get rid of high-level contracts with a big downside, and they want to have the opportunity to use their psychological power to re-sign back Braun and Aleister Black, and maybe even, well, I don't know how long Andrade is signed, but maybe Moxley. Moxley's still on the shelf with an injury. Seems weird. Something's not being said there, bro, with no promo, no nothing. You know what I mean? Like, is there going to be some negotiations to bring these guys back? And after everything they spent money on with Aleister Black, only to stop them after foiling Big E's win and never having a match after that or anything, it will have to restart him again. But, you know, like, I don't think he should show up in AEW. I think that's a bad idea.
When Kazarian hit the ring, I thought it was Moxley at first. And that's what would have made sense to me.
Yeah.
So I'm on your same wavelength with that. It really got me thinking, like, what's going on with Mox? As far as Aleister, I think he'd fit in well at AEW. But recently on the rumor mill, they're already discussing bringing him back to WWE. So I think if it's up to him, he's probably going to want to go to WWE to try to right the wrongs. And hopefully they allow him to do so because he's a good talent. But I would like to see Lana pop up with Rusev. They're a great.
They could bring Aleister Black back this next pay-per-view and fucking like it never missed a beat, and fucking with all the work that they put in on those animations. Like, that'd be a shame to come back again 3 months from now and try and restart again. You know what I mean? Like, got to capitalize off what's going on now.
What I would do is I would allow, if I were Vince and Triple H, I would allow Aleister Black to go work a match on Dynamite that he goes over. He goes in and beats somebody, Stu Grayson, for example, kicks some ass, looks great. And then I'd have him come out of the crowd or something on the next week of Raw or SmackDown and get a really fucking holy shit, what's going on moment.
Yeah, you got to wait till the crowd's back in the arena. Right.
Well, John Moxley, of course, him and Renee are expecting their child as she announced her pregnancy in November. So I think their baby is due here at any time. So maybe he's at home with that. We don't know. But yeah, it is a little peculiar, as you mentioned. Why haven't they at least addressed it? Like, at least when WWE does things like that with their big stars, they'll be like, oh my God, the Bella twins, check it out. They're having their babies and stuff like that. So at least let the fans know what's kind of going on. So, but I don't know. Maybe they don't want to reveal Moxley's sensitive side to his lunatic type of character as well. So there's a couple different angles, but I don't know. Maybe you could find out, Silvio, and you could tell us in private. We won't stay tuned. Be fun. All right. Moving on, Tony Schiavone's in the ring awaiting the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, as this comes off that Face of Latinos package that we talked about with Andrade. They showed that. He is waiting for anxiously Kenny Omega, Don Callis. Tony asked them about the conspiracy theory that they have talked about. Callis says it's a con job of epic proportions. Take the title off Omega. Callis tells Jungle Boy he's just a one-hit wonder. Omega says he knows he's supposed to sell this upcoming match like Jungle Boy is some massive challenge. But he says, JB actually reminds them of a young Omega. Maybe one day he will be champion, but he's missing something. Callis says that one thing that he's missing is that he doesn't have the guts to get in the ring with Omega. And just at that exact moment, Jungle Boy's music comes out. Crowd reacts. Nice pop. Omega says, Jungle Boy has nothing to say because he doesn't have the guts. He actually wonders if Jungle Boy is going to get into a fight or a battle of him being the best on the mic, as he's not known to be one on the mic himself, that being Jungle Boy. And then Kenny Omega puts himself over as the best in the world as a promo. And I applaud him as the champion for making that statement. I wholeheartedly disagree, but and I think a lot of other people would too. But he's good on the mic itself as he's selling this here. And then Omega goes for a cheap shot, misses, eats a bunch of forearms, and then he gets raked in the eyes, throws a few punches. Jungle Boy dodges Omega and then nearly locks in a snare trap, but the Young Bucks run out and save Omega. What'd you think of this Jungle Boy Omega hype? Silvio, are you in? Are you all in, dog?
I am, and I really like this version of Kenny Omega as a heel. I would hopefully they do it next week, but I would have had Kenny Omega tap out. I would have had him get the hold in, tap out, then the Bucks hit the ring. Hopefully they build up to it. Don Callis was good in this too. He had it was a great kind of comedy bit in the pre-tape they did earlier, where you had captions of the conversation between the referee and Don Callis from the title match at Double or Nothing, where the referee's saying stuff like, I hate Kenny Omega. I want him to lose the title. Like, and it was, and when they were saying, fuck you, Don, they had the caption reading, thank you, Don. So I thought that was a nice touch, but I mean, did you notice there was a lot of sexy talk in this promo?
There was
flowing locks in your underwear model body.
Yeah, it reminds me of me. A lot of homoerotic things that we would do at the bathhouse or the Blanford Recreational Center where we rehearse our plays.
Get a little turned on, yeah.
Yeah, ooh, he does have some sexy curls. But yeah, dude, this was funny queer, but that's just what these guys are, man. There's no doubt about it. And then they did the spot. This whole thing is to get on Botchamania, because what did Jungle Boy say?
You talk too much.
And that's, you talk too much.
Yeah.
You never shut up. You talk too much. So then Omega said it right afterwards as well. So that whole thing was a setup to get that fucking clip for Botchamania.
It's interesting that people want to get on Botchamania when the title's about, making light of people not, hitting their moves correctly or doing their performance correctly.
Yeah, but that's just them getting the soundbite in there, so it leads into the fucking it's in there. And as a marketing tool, I think it is smart because their fan base are all smart marks who love Botchamania, who fucking love all the internet shit. And when they see that in there, it's going to be like, AEW. I remember when he said that. That's a smart cut. And it makes Botchamania look like they went and searched it. But the reality is that's fucking free feed for them, and they're writing it into their promos.
Interesting. Well, moving on after that encounter with Jungle Boy and Omega, Mark Sterling appears on the screen with Jade Cargill as he says that her stock is already going up with his help. They have booted the freeloaders and made sure that she's going to be a household name across the nation. Cargill takes the mic, says that she wants to capitalize on her catchphrase that other women in AEW just can't keep out of their mouth because she's that bitch. And I got to say, I thought about it this week more, and I was like, it could be a good catchphrase on T-shirts, and maybe it could surpass wrestling culture. Like, if that was a shirt in a Hot Topic all glittered up or something, I could see girls buying that shirt.
Maybe, but this guy cut a great promo for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he did a great job. And then when you say I'm a household name and say why, and it's your one line, because I'm that bitch. Well, that bitch, parents don't want their little kids running around the house going, I'm that bitch, I'm that bitch. Like, fucking, so it's not a household name. And then we please, Lord, bless this food and all the tidings, and please bless that bitch as we, have our Sunday dinner together. So she's missing trying to be the ghetto ass fucking world star chick that's a top level athlete when he's setting her up to look like a franchise player. A franchise player is about money, is about big contracts, is about globalizing their brand, not being that bitch. It's about being fucking a hella smart entrepreneur, and the one message is great, and then when it's her time to talk, it comes off stupid as fuck. So he set her up, and it was swing and a miss. Like, with that I'm that bitch catch line has got to go. It's stupid as fuck.
I mean, I'm starting to warm up to you a little bit. We've debated this many a times, but I love the presentation they're giving Jade. They're presenting her kind of like an athlete with the endorsements and mentioning shit like that. And she's got money written all over her. We all know that. But I never had a problem with it before, but when she delivered the line that night, just something about it just felt off to me. And I could kind of see your point starting to come to fruition. I'm not sure if I'm that bitch is the way to go, but we'll find out.
We're
that bitch
through the Me Too movement and all this speaking out where, women's rights treat us every equal way and and now you're going to demean yourself and try and, we're taking that word and making it our own and empowered in the culture. Nah, as Ice-T would say, a bitch is a bitch, and fucking at the end of the day, then why it's not getting over. Any guy that says that isn't going, hey, she's that bitch. Like, they're going, look at that bitch. I'd love to fucking smash. Now you're demoralizing yourself into a sexual culture that you're trying to escape out of, and you're teaching young women who AEW's SJW audience is supposed to be empowering fully. So what fucking message is it?
I don't know, dude. I turned on TikTok and they're doing twerking challenges, or girls just get excited. I've seen videos where girls just get excited and they start twerking. I'm like, that's the thing now. We just
every girl got a little hoe in them. That's why it don't matter if you're fucking the Nobel Peace Prize winner. You fucking throw on donkey butt and they're back that ass up and shake it like a dog. Yeah, like okay.
It's very interesting. It's not. I just don't normally shake my body parts in any way, no matter what they are. When I'm excited,
What would it sound like if Vince were to sing "Back That Ass Up"?
Yeah, damn, you look good, Deuce. Back that ass up. Yeah, use a big wide ass, Deucey. Back that ass up. Yeah, I like. Call me Big Daddy when you back that ass up.
I don't know. I'm good. I'm just stay the narrow. Stay focused, man. Ethan Page's Scorpio Sky talked to Darby Allen about his decision, that being in their promo. Sky says that he feels like it's a very dumb decision. Page says there are consequences to what he decides to do, but bit by bit, they're going to chop Allen down and rise up to the next level as they are going, looks like by the Men of the Year. That's going to be their new team name, Men of the Year. Anyway, what'd you think, Silvio? Men of the Year? Do you like that?
What's funny about that is, what are they going to be in 2022?
Men of the Decade.
Do they got to change every?
Maybe. I just, dude, Scorpio Sky's a natural baby face, and him trying to play heel, it comes across disingenuous. And Ethan Page is a natural heel, and he's probably one of the best promos on your roster, him and Eddie Kingston. And that's it's just, I get that they're together. They're both athletic, sexy, and can wrestle. But every time I see him, I'm going, why didn't they bring Josh Alexander and just do the North? That's where the money is. You know what I mean? So I'm just waiting for this tag team to break up, because we want Scorpio Sky to be the baby face and pay off the potential that we've done stop with him 3-4 times, brass ring, all that type of shit. So I enjoy this promo, though. They did a good job.
Mm-hmm. He grabbed a literal brass ring, didn't he?
Yeah, like it was supposed to be a fucking satire piece, and then the next week he's in a heel tag team. Okay.
Lance Archer runs out of the ring with Jake Roberts versus Chandler Hopkins. Quick match. I mean, this was a get-over match, of course, for Lance Archer. He beats him up, blackout, cover, and we're done. And they quickly put over on the commentary that Lance Archer is apparently motivated, and that he's going to take back what's rightfully is, and that's his ascension to the throne. Any quick comments? I mean, Sylvia, what'd you expect?
Poor Chandler Hopkins.
Yeah, poor Chandler Hopkins. Anything, Bid?
Jake popped me. I like that we had a squash match and he went over strong, and this is how Lance Archer should have been portrayed week in and week out and week in and week out. And now it's 6 months in and we're just starting to do things the right way.
I don't know. Well, after that, then we got our first female match. But before we got that, we got a quick little Ryan Nemeth with JD Drake, Cesar Bonini, and Peter Avalon. Says Orange Cassidy is the worst dressed wrestler in AEW, and he offers a makeover. Says that Cassidy is going to either take the makeover or he's going to get beat up by Cesar. And the only
put this over is I was just checking Twitter, and this promo was rotten because Rachel was upstairs doing dishes and fucking at the end he goes, or I can do that or I can break, and Rachel goes, your face, just before he said it too. So we're wrestling 101, but this is what we need to be doing with fucking Butcher Bunny and Blade, bro. This is at Galleria Mall, by the way, on somebody's Twitter. They're in the fucking mall repping Buffalo Kids, and instead we have them doing whatever we're doing. There's underground hip-hop cred here. There's street cred, and there's a whole city you can get behind them. This needs to be a thing now.
Okay.
Cesar Bononi said, he'll break your fucking face.
Well, see, the one thing I was going to say is I did like, I mean, the only part of the promo I liked was just the end after Caesar says, I'll break your face. And then Ryan goes, oh, he'll do that. I don't know, that made me laugh, but that was probably the only thing I liked.
But that's Ryan being improv Olympic comedy and knowing how to button a scene in a funny fucking way.
Pretty good.
Speaking of improv, I mean, I sent you a link to a great improv thing I found the other day. Watch it when we get off the air.
Okay.
You'll dig it. I liked Ryan Nemeth getting screen time, and I like that they finally explained a little bit what this group does and why they're together, because we've seen them palling around a little bit on Dynamite, but they've never told us, who they are, why these men are aligned with each other. And it looks like they're setting up some kind of feud with Cassidy. I was expecting a match to come right up, so maybe they're building to a match. I'm not sure where they're going to go with Orange from here. But I'm glad
Ryan those guys together, that could be some funny Scooby-Doo fucking Laurel and Hardy fucking, level shit, with Cassidy mixing in with those guys and doing comedy bits, best friends wise, where those guys show ass every time. Each one of those guys can have great reactions and funny fucking bits.
Yeah, I like the dynamic of the nerds having the big guy in the back to go to send somebody, and that's story of my life. That's how we get around. Find the big guy to take the beat.
Yeah.
The beating. So following that, we got as I mentioned, our first women's match tonight. Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero taking on Layla Hirsch. We kind of knew going in that based off of last week's interaction between the Britt Baker celebration, that it looks like we got Nyla Rose on the rise. They're going to be rebuilding her back up as the contender for Britt Baker's championship. And Nyla Rose does pick up the victory over Layla Hirsch here. Mr. Silvio, you are, of course, the head coach, trainer, and Seidel Dojo. And, of course, you are trainer of Miss Jenna. What do you think of this match?
It was better than I expected it to be. The weird thing about Nyla is she's been so stop and start. It's kind of hard to click with her, but I thought Layla and her worked well. They did a nasty spot where Layla went for a triangle choke on the floor, and Nyla chucked her in the guardrail. That looked pretty fucking devastating. Layla had a really nice high spot in this where she jumped from the apron around Nyla and Germaned her. I don't know if she should be Germaning Nyla, but aside from that, it was a cool spot. She followed that up with the sick-ass running knee, and then this cool double jump moonsault that looked beautiful. So she busted her little ass out there. Big finish. She goes for the Rana off the top. Nyla catches her, sit down power bomb. That was a hell of a bump for both of them. Nyla goes over strong, which is appropriate in this situation. So the match was fine. My only question is presumably Nyla is being built as Britt Baker's first challenger. Well, Nyla worked as a heel, and Britt is a heel. So I don't know how they're going to sell that rivalry without turning Britt.
I think Britt's already half-ass turned,
She is.
Yeah. The powerbomb finish was stiff, but good. Believable. The shirt over the face, the stool, the stepping stool, the good ribs or whatever. But this is something I was talking about with Power that I wanted to talk about with you. So we have these moments where, like, we did Lumpy Magoo and the Grape Drink Connection, two opposite worlds, where in the middle we actually tell a story of people that can come together. Not that they were opposed, you know what I mean? But worlds you wouldn't think about. So with Nyla, we have the transgender month and everything that's going on now, where even though she's a heel, we have feel some kind of way about her of like we support her, right? So that's kind of a weird thing to do, even though when you're a baby, you're winning a heel way, or vice versa. But do we need a homophobic heel in AEW? Because is it better to use wrestling as a device to show that opposite people who are heels and babies or antagonists, protagonists will eventually have to find some common ground to come together and show that we have understanding and that we're all human no matter what, and we can all be on that? Because without her having that counterpart, you're just telling us to accept a social construct and social confine where people can go, dude, you're telling me it's a woman, but I know it's a man, and fucking now she's wrestling a girl who's fucking 4'6", and we have to make believe this, that, and the other. And now I'm thinking of like, you're forcing something on me. But if we had the voice of that through a character, and then the circumstances create that moment that shows wrestling cuts across sexuality, race, across everything on the planet. But without having that homophobic character, we can never get to that point. So I just was curious what your thoughts were on that.
I don't think they could get away with going full on homophobic in 2021, like kind of how they did the Goldust and Razor angle, where where Razor's freaked out about Goldust. Like that barely flew in '96. Right. What I think you can do is have Britt say a line that is disrespectful. So I wouldn't have Britt being homophobic per se, but in her promo she could say something like, and it's Pride Month.
Right.
It's a big deal. It's a big celebration. Everybody here is celebrating one of the most important fundamental American freedoms. Pride in their AEW champion, Britt Baker. Where she kind of takes away from their steam and puts it on her.
But what about the fact of, couldn't you just go, I'm the AEW women's champion and you're not a woman?
No. Can't do it.
I
don't know. I like lettuce, guacamole, and bacon tomato sandwiches. They're pretty good. Have you tried them?
Britt might be able to do that with Sunny Kiss because they referred to Sunny as both he and she on the program. Okay. Nyla's always been she.
I just think that I think keeping Nyla a woman, yes, but a man should be the one to be like, dude, what are you doing? And like, without saying, direct fucking Trumpism, dumbass shit, you can do things in a judgmental way that easily expose that you're not down with suspect behavior. You know what I mean? But eventually, telling those stories, we can get to a point where they have to work together and find understanding. And that's the lesson of show, don't tell, that we need to show our audience where we believe in that. But we're never going to get that point of the Venn diagrams meeting if we don't have the outside character to show the wrong side of thought. It's showing the character of a lot of people that might feel a certain way, but a circumstance can drive us together where we both have to be on the same page and find common ground and common respect. And I think that's what my point is in trying to show that, as opposed to, no, you just we're telling you that this is a woman and you better fucking respect it, because that gives some of your audience a knee-jerk reaction, man.
It's an interesting case study, and I know it's coming from a good place from you to put out a positive message. Just the logistics of it would be very hard to figure out how
it's the highest level tool of what wrestling can be used for, to unify people. But you still need to have the character of ignorance there. You just can't say that it doesn't exist and not show how to overcome it.
It could be Jade Cargill in her dressing room. Sunny Kiss walks in and Jade says something like, what are you doing changing in here? This isn't your locker room. Like, it would have to be very subtle, but there are ways. It would just be so fun.
I'd like to have those. I'd like to have those creative meetings. I think that'd be even if it never makes it to TV, it's worth talking out, you know?
Definitely. So following that, we had Tony Schiavone talking with the AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker with Rebel. Baker says she was mad at Nyla Rose for ruining her celebration last week. Then she realized that Rose looks good flipping burgers, and maybe that's her thing. Baker says as a champion, she's already getting big corporate endorsements. She calls Rose one of those jealous bitches in the back. And then Baker says, she makes the title, but the title makes people like Rose. So, I mean, if they're going... Oh,
there's the boys. There's the boys, Colin, Big Ray, and Billy Ray Valentine looking slick today, boys.
All right.
Congrats, Ray.
So with the I'm that bitch, right? That's supposed to be her catchphrase. And Mark Sterling pointed out in his promo earlier in the night that anytime someone apparently says it, they're going to get royalties. I would have liked to have seen like a little Jade Cargill head pop up at the bottom. Just anytime now someone says bitches, I want to see her head and a little counter, like a little ching.
Like
They should be doing something like that. I mean, I do that on my podcast for something stupid, for Suck My Balls. Anytime Ian takes a hit, I call it Scoop's hit counter. And it pops up and goes, poof, and it makes the bong hit sound. So, like, just something simple like that, I think would be, I don't know, funny. Because otherwise, yeah, you're just watching it going, I'm that bitch.
What? Rob Conway, ready for the pool.
Still looking sexy.
And what did you think of this promo with Britt Baker, Mr. Silvio?
I like Britt. I'm a fan of all Britt shit. I mean, like, it wasn't consequential, really. She kind of addressed what happened. Like, it wasn't like it led to anything grand, but anytime Britt's on the mic, I enjoy it. And Reba's a great sidekick, and she's getting the DMD thing over, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, she killed it, man. She looks great, and her sex appeal is going to turn her baby face. But and Reba looks great too. Been working hard. I know she's in Medford, New York right now, going to a signing at a toy store there. So she's glad to be back on the road too. So it's going down, man. But it was just a simple little pre-tape, easy enough to keep her over.
So they announced next week's bouts. They've got QT Marshall and Aaron Solo with Nick Camarado versus Cody Rhodes and Brock Anderson with Arn Anderson. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky taking on Darby Allen, a handicap match. Penta El Zero, Eddie Kingston, and Frankie Kazarian with Alex Abrahantes versus Matt Jackson and the Good Brothers with Don Callis. Jim Ross's sit down with Andrade, Orange Cassidy with the Best Friends, and Chris Statler versus Cesar Bonini with the Wingman, and Wardlow versus Jake Hager in a MMA rules cage fight. And then we go to our main event. Brian Cage, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Hangman Page N10. Taz joined the commentary as he normally does. So this is, of course, this feud that's being played out between Hangman and Brian Cage. Ultimately, in the end, though, Hangman Page and 10, dude, pick up the victory as Hobbs was going for a spine buster, but 10 nailed a ripcord cutter, and then Page hit a buckshot lariat for the pinfall. What do you think of this as we wrap up this review, Mr. Silvio?
The big story of this was the conflict in Team Taz between Ricky and Brian Cage, namely. When we got down to the finish, Ricky Starks runs out, tries to throw Cage the belt to hit Hangman with or 10 with, and Cage throws it back, prompting Ricky Starks to slap him and Brian Cage to chase him off screen, and that led into the finish. So credit to them for continuing to build this thing with Ricky and Brian. I like that. The match itself, they did a lot of good stuff. They had a lot of cool stuff. Just the pace was very quick. They worked that match like two cruiserweight indie tag teams. Like everything it was just like spot transition after transition, never really slowed it down. And when you got guys like Powerhouse Hobbs and Cage, you got to have those breaks to sell for them for an extended period of time and then go into the stuff. But they did well. Hangman's great. I thought 10 stepped his game up. I'd seen 10 in other matches and in another main event where I felt he wasn't ready. He's looking a bit more prepared now, and he's got a good look. You could do something with him. Ciampa's a fucking monster.
Dude, he is a fucking beast right now.
Here's my question about 10, and I mean, I'll throw this one to you first, and Maddie can chime in. With his gimmick, can you get that over? Can you get 10 over like he is now? I don't see a mass character that's not a luchador and has like kind of a simple plain costume. It would be very hard for me as a booker to figure out how to get this guy over. Is it possible to get 10 over?
you know, I've been hot about the fact of how he's disrespected, you know, his gimmick on social media, but we could play into that. We can play into the dead presidents or the fucking bank robbery thing of like, what was it, Point Break, you know what I mean? And like there's a point where he takes the mask off and whatnot, and there's times when he has to put it back on to do the robbery, but we get used to him as the other character, as you know, the sexy guy. He's got a lot of the same Mr. Spectacular attributes, you know what I mean? Body guy as well, and he's good looking. So keeping the mask on him when we already got fucking Evil Uno again is splitting the focus out of there. So we just need to make the mask for him, even though I guess it disrespects Lucha, like a thing that he does when he has to go do the heist. And he doesn't always have to.
He's not a luchador. So it doesn't matter if he disrespects.
It's more of like Joker's henchman type fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like to make it look like Joker, because it does. So, but we're not playing the other side of that to dumb it down. And that's the thing. And that could, him doing that could get him heat with Penta, Phoenix, and fucking Serpico, whatever the fuck, Serpentico, fucking and Serpico, fucking he could come in and arrest everybody. But yeah, dude, that's what I think I would go, because there's money on him as a good-looking blonde-haired, jacked baby face. And maybe he even leaves and joins Team Taz. I think, yeah, the story with, don't touch my neck is good, because when he grabs him for real, it's going to fucking be like, oh, shit. But this is the first time, even though they did go 1,000 miles an hour and guys should have sold for him way more. Dude, Team Taz looks good in the orange and black and the fucking all that shit. Now it's starting to solidify and could be something. They should not have taken the loss here. A made tag team of two monsters versus put together, you know, singles guy who's an affiliate of fucking a mythical group. That wouldn't have hurt them to take that fucking loss. 10 should have taken the loss on that after whatever the business was, you know, going into it, because these guys are massive and they need to have the win. So don't make a squad only to have them go under like that.
Maddie, what do you think? Can they get 10 over with this presentation? The mask, the white pants. Can you see this character getting over to a money drawing level?
I'd say no. I mean, and it also has to do with the fact they've turned him into a cokehead on being the elite. That's kind of his gimmick over there.
Cocaine?
Yeah, he never actually says the words.
Never mind. Forget what I said about everything.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's kind of his thing. Like every time he's like gonna do coke, there's white powder everywhere, or like he talks about, I'm gonna get some more coke, you know. So like it's
that's a rib on somebody, unless he got busted fucking doing some, and they're just making him do that as a fucking rib and funny. Otherwise, that's a fucking rib on somebody in the locker room. It's got to be.
Well, that's your Light the Fuse review, AEW Dynamite from June 11th, 2021. I am your host on the scene where the air is clean. I'm lighting up that green. Your boy,
yeah,
MSG. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Matthew_Schaffner. We just gave you 2 hours of free, unadulterated, unedited content right here on Ben Hamin's YouTube, as well. It'll be on patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. You can also check out our sponsors, thebrosters.com. Pick up your bag of Russo Bro coffee and use the code 5LB, and you'll save some money, bro. You can also check out Zordo's olive oil. Get the finest Greek artisan olive oil, as well as check out any of our other pro wrestling tee stores, such as Mr. Chris Silvio's here, Ben Hamin, SEG shirts for Big Sal, Greek God Papa Don, and of course, BWO Stevie Richards himself. But I also am the producer and editor for my boy, Stevie Ray, one half of Harlem Heat. You can go check that out at patreon.com/Stevie Ray TV, or join him throughout the week, twitch.tv/Stevie Ray TV, and on YouTube. You don't have to subscribe to watch the shows, but if you do want to download them or watch the replays, you have to subscribe, which you can do on twitch.tv/ or on patreon.com/Stevie Stevie Ray TV. So I did my outro during that roundtable, right? So I've got these 3 grown men, they're hot, they're doing their whole thing, right? And we're coming down to the end, and Stevie's like, all right, Matt, what do you got to say before, as we're wrapping things up? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to get my plugs in, right? So I did my spiel there. I did the Patreon thing. And then just to kind of ease the tension, I actually went ahead and I was like, all right. And you can also check out my other podcast, South Park Review, and they all died laughing. Yeah, so it was a good way to break up the tension at the end of the podcast. Go check out Suck My Balls South Park Review, and you can also use my code SuckMyBallsPod at thebakedboysclub.com for all of your cannabis related material. Mr. Silvio, what is going on? I saw apparently you guys are having some fun in the sun. What's happening this weekend?
Always. And Maddie, I'm glad that your that soundbite got over on their show. So
I know, so
congrats to you on that. I mean, can I get another doorbell before we get out of here? And then the one I hate.
Ding dong. Hello?
And then also,
first of all, don't tell me what to do.
Japanese. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, go to Title Match Wrestling Network. Genocide. Mission Pro Wrestling's back. Live pay-per-view. She'll be taking on the cannibal, Savannah Evans. So 2 hard-hitting ladies.
Nice.
Gonna whoop each other's ass. So it should be good. I'm doing my thing, hitting the beats, training wrestlers. You know the deal. You want the best wrestling training money can buy, come on down to Tampa, Florida. Hit up your boys at Side Dojo. That's all I got for today. Good Dynamite. And in my opinion, great review show like the Feuds. I mean, we stand out among everyone in the world that reviews this show. So
I would agree.
Kudos to you, gents.
Dan, are you coming back for UFC tonight, or what? You got the weekend off?
And another probably 2 hours after I do some shit. Maybe I'll flip it back on. So keep it locked. Twitch.tv/Hamin Media. I got my final UFC Bovada bets. Actually, they stopped betting in New York. So I had like $9.35 and like $80 or none, like 60 in credit money. But you have to have $10 in order to fucking be able to get it out. So I hit the thing and after betting, and all of a sudden it let me unlock 50, and then I hit 2 more parlays and let me take out another 40. So instead of 10, I took out an extra 100. Nice. I bet my last 15 on UFC tonight. So I don't even know if I'll get any money out of it down the road or not. But yeah, so I'm watching along, having a good time with that. But it's been good with the handicappers, and it'll be good next weekend. Tom's River, New Jersey, the athletic center out there, the action center. I'll be there for Titan Championship Wrestling, having my man Blaze Haram's back. So back on the road next weekend, man. I'll have some new 8x10s, $5 face slaps, and ready to beat somebody's ass because I'm hungry to get in there, man, and start throwing some shots. So I feel bad for whoever is going to get stiff first by Hacker Hamin because it's going to be bad.
I was also going to say, send your feedback, guys. Like the Fuse, hmg@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from fans. Have any feedback on the show, and we'll read right here live on the show.
I mean, have you made any progress on the vaccination match?
Ooh.
Oh, on getting the vax match? I don't believe I've been able to get that signed just yet.
Just make it happen.
Vax on a pole or double vax to get it done. But you know,
get it in the butt.
It's been an awesome week here at HMG with all my OVW brothers, all my staff working hard, and all my staff who are getting married today, having a good time celebrating. So you celebrate good times too, infidels. It's MSG. It's the Chris Silvio. It's Hacker Hamin. AEW Dynamite. Light the fuse, infidels. Y'all.